Hello, everyone! Welcome to another episode of Top. My name is Larry,
Lawrence,
Seb, and Lionel, and this is Top Podcast where we talk One Piece and anime. Woo! Still trying to get used to that.
I see you almost slipped up just now.
Still trying to get used to that.
I heard it too.
What's good, everybody? Hello. Thank you for joining us for another episode, and it is episode 206. Damn. The more we go up, the more in disbelief I am.
206 is wild.
There's more. Like, we met up 206 times, technically. You know what I'm saying? So, thank you all for being here. To all the new people that are currently here, please hit that like button for your boy and hit the subscribe button for your boy if you haven't already done so. To everybody that just found us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, thank you so much. I hope you enjoy your time here. Today's agenda will be to discuss One Piece Chapter 1150. I know there's been a lot of requests that people want us to watch the One Piece episode. Since Lionel is not here, that means some time has been cut from us just talking. So if we get the chance to review the anime episode, I will tell Marv to put it up if we have time. But we're going to try to do Discord calls. So if you're new here, you can call us. You can call into the show. You can talk to us about your theories regarding the latest chapter or just One Piece overall or any anime overall, okay? If you want to send us something through the mail, you can do so as well. Just check in the video description below of this video, and you'll see our P.O. box address that you can send stuff to us. But other than that, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of our hearts for joining us today. This chapter's crazy.
Yeah, it's a little wild.
So I do, I reacted to the chapter. For people that saw the reaction, I was completely blown away the entire chapter. I had no idea what to say. I had so many crazy thoughts. And Marv's going to get spoiled today. So he might
He gets spoiled every episode, bro.
But not like this.
Yeah,
this is a kind of a crazy one.
Marv don't be paying attention for real.
So, I'm really excited to hear what the guys say. I'm really excited to hear what you guys have to say in the live chat. And, so when you guys send super chats, because that's what you do on YouTube, we just want to say thank you for sending it first and foremost. We don't need it, right? But because you send it, we're so grateful for it. But if you don't have anything to super chat with, just like the video. That's really all you need to do, okay? So thank you so much to everybody. And I'll pass it to Seb to read who's in chat and then to read some super chats. And then at 6:15, we'll start the chapter review.
Yeah, there's a bunch of people in here. Like Larry said already, like the stream if you haven't already. It does help with the YouTube algorithm. I see Mr. Aura, Heavy Whip Hop, Ali Raza, Saeed, Fremos, Javian Strothers, Michael D'Angelo, Teabag, The Broker, Zoro D. Joyboy, Nico, Riasat Chowdhury, King Frost XX6, Demonic B, Noah Austin, Noah Gibbs, Chance the Mance, Sedgefield. Oh my God, Sedgefield. Perryon Jones, Uwu, P, Ciandre Williams, Lucky Rue, The Maze, Tristan Spencer, Andreas Reichhelm, Dempsey Roll, Epo, Naheem Udin, Deku Mighty, Twilight Straw Hat. What up, Twilight? Fallen Shinobi, Firearms, Mamba Kid, Austin Hart. Just so many y'all. Please, like I said, like the stream if you haven't already. We do have a bunch of super chats, and new Nakama's joining the ship, so I'll shout all you guys out. Heavy Wepop, welcome to Nakama. Fremos, welcome to Nakama. Javion Strothers, welcome to Nakama. Teabag, welcome to Nakama. Zordy Joyboy, welcome to Nakama.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah,
Welcome.
man. Throw the Nakama fist up for new crewmates.
There's a couple familiar names, too.
Yeah. We got 2.5 euros from Nico. It says, sup, current Yonkos plus Revs versus all of the world government and the Marines. I got the world government and the Marines. I'm going to be honest with you.
World Government Marines after this chapter.
For now. They got to level up a little bit.
After this chapter, I'm fully convinced.
It's kind of wild, bro. They got a lot going on.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, man.
Well,
you said all the Yonko?
all current Yonko.
Oh, current. You're right.
Yeah.
I
I'm thinking.
Actually, I got the Yonko.
Yeah, I think I'm.
Yeah, I got the Yonko. Yeah.
Wait,
I'm gonna switch up my answer. I got the Yonko and the Revs. Yeah.
the current Yonko.
Yeah.
So like,
the current Yonko.
Current Yonko. Blackbeard, Luffy, Shanks, Buggy, and their crews.
Yes.
Versus the Revs. So Dragon and Sabo and gang.
Yeah.
Versus all of the world government and all the Marines.
Yeah.
Okay. I disagree, but I feel you.
So the only reason I say it, and then I guess Law will add.
Mm-hmm.
I saw what Joy Boys Hockey did to the Gorosei.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw what it did to Vice Admirals
Mm-hmm.
after that. No, not Vice Admiral. I saw Joy Boys Hockey. Sorry. I saw Joy Boys Hockey do what it did to the Gorosei. I saw Joy Boys Hockey do what it did to the Vice Admirals. It knocked them unconscious. It took them out of their emu forms, I would say, right? And it sent them back to the pentagrams that they came from. Dorian Brogy said that Shanks' hockey was very similar.
Mm-hmm.
So if Shanks can just do that on whim, then I don't need to worry about the Gorosei transforming. I don't need to worry about the Vice Admirals because they're taken out. And most of every foot soldier that's going to be there are going to be down anyway. And there's no Shichibukai system no longer in place. So now I'm just versing the Admirals. I'm versing the Holy Knights. And then I'm versing the depowered Gorosei with Emu probably on his knees anyway. And then we have Blackbeard, who can take away abilities. We have Luffy that could create a fist the size of Onigashima. And then we have Luffy who can also do Conqueror's Hockey, not on par with Shanks, but probably could get to a level where, like, if they both start using Conqueror's Hockey, I don't see how Green Bull could even transform into his tree form. So there's a lot happening in that aspect. If Shanks is not included, then I think that they win.
Okay.
But if Shanks is included, then no way.
I'm not. I'll tell you this: the infighting on that pirate / revolutionary side gonna be crazy. But
and then we have Dragon, and if we are to expect what Dragon can do, then Dragon could probably do something very similar to Shanks or more than Shanks.
Put it this way: the way I look at it, this fight will take place at some point, on some level, and
if Shanks don't get taken out,
yeah, and that side will have to win in the end, but I think we need power-ups before we get to that point, regardless. Because Shanks will be gone.
Mr. Blackbeard himself. Mr. Blackbeard himself.
Listen,
oh my God.
Listen, we're going to need some power-ups before we get to taking Emu and the gang
Listen,
down.
don't forget, I think the underdog out of the whole situation is probably Pizarro Avalo, if we being honest.
Sure.
Yo, think about it, bro. He going to be the entire island.
He getting smoked.
I guess.
And I wonder how far-reaching Devon's ability, what she can mimic when she takes.
Mm-hmm. Listen,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, y'all expecting complete cooperation, which I guess is implied.
Especially too.
But Luffy see Blackbeard. I don't know if he just gonna be like, "Hey, I guess we're fighting together against these people here." There's gonna be some problems, man. I'm just saying.
Especially too. I'm just saying how we see these Gorosei looking like Kaido, as in this letting themselves get hit and attacked. That's, you just open up the field for Devon.
And now we got confirmation kind of that Conqueror's Hockey overall stops their hyper regen. Mm-hmm. So it's like
there's only so many people on that side that can even do that though. It's legit one to our knowledge. That's two to our knowledge.
But I will make a strong controversial statement that most likely Gabon doesn't have stronger Conqueror's Hockey than the people that are versing these Gorosei, right? So he's going to have a strong, like Shanks would have a stronger impact on his attacks.
Okay.
So would Luffy.
Okay.
If you want to suggest Blackbeard has it, go ahead. I don't care.
I wasn't going to do that.
But I believe Ben Beckham has it.
Ben Beckman probably, I don't know. But
okay,
listen, man, there's enough firepower on that squad. And don't forget, everybody's favorite all-time fighter, Mihawk, is on this field of battle.
I mean, how many Leloucia buttons do I got to press?
Probably not enough.
I'm just saying,
you know
bro.
What? We gonna join
I'm just saying.
We gonna join the Mihawk hype. He gonna cut it in half.
Oh my God.
He gonna cut it in half.
Is it fire? Is that like fire?
Yeah, man. You ain't being Mihawk, bro. Nah, bro.
Mihawk and Zoro will cut that in half, bro.
And if whatever killed Leloucia got a sword on the island itself, that makes it a swords user.
Lucy and button a sword
So
down.
yeah,
So it's a
bro.
Mihawk
Yeah,
victory.
bro.
Okay.
It's not beating Mihawk, bro.
Also, it looked like a fire-based thing. Zoro cuts fire now. You know what I'm saying?
All right. Listen, I guess.
That's all I'm
but
saying,
I'll take
man.
it. Shout
They don't even
out
have
to-
Mihawk flex. Oh, Zoro, you cutting fire now? So what? I'm Mihawk, and just have him start cutting fire too. Because it's kind of how Zoro just picked it up. He seen Kinemon do it. It was, oh, that's a neat trick. I'm gonna do that.
And Holy Knights really don't go hard if there's a bunch of conquerors just going crazy. As we've seen,
Yeah.
they
Listen,
get turned.
I'm not mad at it.
They get turned into second commander level.
I'm
Like,
not mad at it, man. I'm not mad.
listen, Marco might come through in the stretch too. You know Marco,
no
right?
doubt.
Right? You know
Marco's not
Marco.
gonna be here. He's not a part of any of these crews.
Listen, what if he took Shankus up on his offer, bro?
He did it. We
Oh no,
added
man.
Marco now.
Yo, listen, bro.
Yeah,
Why not?
You know what? Y'all add Marco.
Why
I'll switch
not?
up.
Yo, and guess what? You know who gonna come through too? If Luffy go and fight,
Boa.
Boa Hancock,
Listen, that don't count. Y'all counting? Y'all counting
the heavy
non-crewmates.
princess herself.
Y'all counting non-crewmates.
Yup. Oh, you got hyper regen?
are you-
Try to do it when you bricked up, dog.
Yo, that don't count. Y'all are counting
Wait,
non-crewmates.
wait. Are you counting their affiliates? Like, all right, the Grand Fleet.
Ooh, Yeah.
Sure, but Boa's not a Grand Fleet member. Marco's not a
She-
Grand Fleet
she
member.
basically
and
is, bro.
guess who else on the Grand Fleet? Don Jinjiao. Another Conqueror's hockey user. Come see me. Splitting you open.
Okay.
Pause.
Okay. I'm gonna go to the next super chat.
That's all I'm saying,
But let us,
bro.
I put the poll up. Let us know your
bro.
thoughts. Yo. Another 5 from Noah Gibbs. Do you think we will ever see Luffy use an attack like Garp's Galaxy Impact or see Zoro do something similar to Divine Departure? Hashtag Larry Tax. Hashtag White Fan Tax. Thank you. I want to say yeah.
Yeah, he gonna do it with Gatling gun one day.
Yeah.
And we gonna be amazed.
We're gonna get to a point where those are standard attacks from Luffy and Zoro, low key.
Yeah, that'd be dope.
Yeah. We got another Yonko upgraded membership from Sedgefield and another trio of 50-pound super chats
Oh my
from
God.
Sedgefield. My God.
Sedgefield, bro.
Thank
Oh,
you.
man.
150?
Thank you,
Sheesh.
bro.
Thank you, dog.
All right. Sedgefield, the legend, says Kaido smiled to himself, stunned that his opponent's attack could manage to damage him. He looked at the sunglasses-clad warrior standing before him. Law's fierce determination shone through from under his black shades. There are only a scant few capable of besting me, Kaido thought to himself. Lawrence just stood. Undeterred, Kaido began to imagine the visages of opponents the mighty Law had bested in the past. A horse, a gorilla, a spider protected by an unbreakable windshield, and a business partner asking for a paycheck. Kaido could only chuckle. Law, he asked, how high will your ceiling go?
And one of his hearts.
I can't.
Yo.
Bruh.
He said the spider was protected
My
by an
unbreakable
unbreakable
windshield.
windshield.
Yo, bruh. I just imagine like the monkey looking like Harambe and how they be having in the clouds with the stairs.
Stupid.
That was so good. Great fanfic, bro.
Dog,
Write more.
Yo, please.
I want to hear
I wanna
more,
hear
bro.
more.
I want to hear what happens next.
Yo, right.
Yeah.
Because now you're fighting a dragon.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Another animal.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
can't.
saying?
Let's not make a manga about me just fighting animals.
No, let's make it. Let's make it.
You was Luffy during his 2-year time skip. Bro. You're so beating on animals,
Oh,
bro.
man, bro.
Learning gears, bro.
Jeez. Well, thank you so much, Sedgefield. That was very fun. It was dope. And we
Yes,
appreciate
that was
the
amazing.
big donation.
Thank you, thank you.
We did have another Nakama join the crew in Perion Jones. So welcome, Perion. And it's 6:15 now, so you want to
Yeah,
take a break?
yeah. Let's. We're gonna jump right back into super chats. We're just gonna hit the chapter. We're gonna do the cover story and then go back into super chats. Okay. All right. You guys ready for today's chapter?
Yep.
Let's get it. All right. Today's chapter is titled Domi Reversi. We return to Yamato's pilgrimage in the cover story. The caption at the bottom reads, Enma Shrine in Hakumai. Yasui's sword is enshrined, and the pilgrimage is complete. we see page 1 sitting down while Ulti is standing up and Yamato is in front of the Hakumai shrine facing towards it. Do you guys have anything to say about this week's cover story? And we'll start with Lo.
I honestly don't have much. I just thought of, we're finally here, finally reached the goal. And I want to know now, since we're here, does this end Yamato's, pilgrimage of or her cover story? And I don't know, but I will say, if Oda, say it does end in a few more and that was kind of it, wrote all this just to show us that page 1 and Ulti joined with Yamato, I mean, that's a waste. Come on. I expected more. If this is all we got from all that writing just to lead to this one, oh yeah, she returned the sword and page 1 and Ulti joined her. If that's it, oh no, we expected way more from Wano and from this cover story. But we'll see, I guess, what happens. I don't know. It ends very anticlimactic because the main person was who's who. The main villain of everything was who's who. That's as cool as who's who was. That's it? Come on, man. I don't know. But, yeah.
I feel you. Seb?
Yeah, I wholeheartedly agree with what Lawrence is saying. Because to me, you could have got to that in 2 to 3 cover pages. Mm-hmm. You could have been return the sword. Oh, there's a thing. Who's here? Her in page 1 and you could have got that in literally I want to say 5 cover pages. We didn't need to do all that we was doing. Tama, Hold'em. You could have bracketed that off into 4 sections of 1 cover page if you really wanted to in a mini comic strip. Mm-hmm. But I'm still holding out hope that we're gonna get more. Mm-hmm. I kind of don't want more if it's gonna be this tame. Mm-hmm. So unless there's a giant earthquake that happens real quick from a certain somebody, I don't. I actually would rather we are done and just be that was a hell of a cover story.
Yeah.
Unless we're getting something really impactful. So, yeah. I don't have much more to say. I think Lawrence put it phenomenally.
Yeah. I'm not sure where the cover story is headed from here. Honestly, I do hope it's over. But if it does continue, I hope something wild happens to really make it worth following again. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Also, page 1 has a sun emblem on his cape, on his cloak, which is interesting. It's the same symbol that appeared in Kuma's church and throughout various moments in the series, but I doubt it ultimately means much here.
Isn't that the Kozuki crest or whatever? Am I tripping? Because Ulti has it too.
Is it the Kozuki?
I don't know.
No, the Kozuki crest is a swan.
It's different. Yeah, it's a swan.
But it does have the sun symbol in it.
Mm-hmm.
No, but it's just a sun symbol. So I'm yo, why is that there? It's just Oda just being yo, let me just make something interesting about this cover story.
He's struggling.
Yeah, he's struggling. He's struggling hard, bro.
Struggling,
this is one of those findings oh, that would be interesting, but since the cover story sucks so much, it doesn't really hold any value.
I mean, the only thing is probably in the final war, we can expect them 3 to align themselves with Luffy, so we'll see them again, most likely.
Yeah, I mean, they go hard too, so.
Yeah.
But, all right. Let's jump back into Super Chats for 5 minutes, and then we'll jump right back into the chapter.
All right. We got another €6, pounds? I never know. From the Maze, it says, do you guys think Emu might have the other god fruits? He might have the forest god fruit because Harley Tech said the forest gods summon its devils. Maybe. I haven't subscribed to that or thought of it in that way, but it's possible.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah. I didn't think
Could be.
Yeah. Thanks for...
It's really hard to say. There's nothing...
It's not enough knowledge yet of the text or what it's supposed to actually mean for us to know at this point, I would say.
Yeah.
But it's possible.
Yeah.
Another €5 from Naeem. Or pounds, I still don't know. I believe Brook's Devil Fruit was able to break the contract with Emu due to the Devil Fruit having a will of its own. Brook's Devil Fruit can only work if he is in control of his life. We will get to that a little later. I actually have a theory myself that's kind of in line with what you're saying to some degree. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of Emu Brook stuff later, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah? Okay.
For me, anyway.
I kind of don't agree with it at all. I think it's very much more simple than that.
Very possible. We got another 5 from the Fallen Shinobi. Afternoon, I was watching or rewatching the podcast, and I'm at the part where Yamato might join, but we'll figure out in the next chapter, and Seb is heated. Hashtag Larry attacks. Oh, that was a big W for me in the end, thank God.
Yeah, it was.
Jesus,
bro.
bro.
We were I don't know who was going back and forth, but we were even like earlier when Lawrence was saying like we expected more from Wano. I thought back to the times of how like even now we still aren't satisfied, and when we had the pod going, we had so many complaints, and it just shows like how we've grown through it. And like overcome it, but it's still like PTSD a little bit, and like there's so many opinions about Wano for people, but
listen, man,
there was a lot, and we started chapter 10, 15, so it's like it was tough, bro.
Yeah,
I was really on the Yamato's gonna join bandwagon. I can't believe y'all.
Yeah.
Anyway, another 15 months at Nakama status from Mama Kid. It says the Monster Trio versus Jinwoo, Idris, and Beru. Who wins?
Jinwoo, bro.
These are solo leveling characters, I assume. Yeah, right? I'm going Monster Trio off GP. Luffy got Toon Force. And Hockey.
It's Jinwoo, bro.
I'm too early in the game. I can't. I'm only on like episode like 7 of solo leveling. What I see so far, he gets smoked. So I'm assuming he gets much, much, much stronger than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
well,
like insanely.
Right now, I gotta lean toward Jinwoo.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I know you like that. Okay.
It's bad.
But it wasn't just Jinwoo. He said Jinwoo, and
to my understanding, those people all just kind of work underneath him, right? Those are like summonings for him or whatever. So it's still just Jinwoo, technically. Am I tripping?
Jinwoo can just. He's like Big Mom on steroids, bro.
Okay.
And also too, each summoning they have their own fighting intelligence, fighting prowess, or whatever. In fact, after he rises them, they get stronger.
Yeah, they're allowed to get stronger.
A little initially. They get stronger off the initial rise, and then they can level up too.
Yeah.
Right, but they have their own their own ability outside of Jinwoo. He just commands them.
And he could boost their stats.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm gonna pose a question in the chat. Maybe people be biased because it's One Piece.
And he be going for the kill, bro.
Okay. Let us know your thoughts, man. I'm curious. I'm into it though. I've been watching Solo Leveling. I'm into it. I like it. All right, we got another 5 months.
2 more minutes, guys.
Yeah, another 5 months. Warlord status from Wise Life Jody. This chapter is crazy. Know y'all got some great takes coming. Which has a better chance of happening? Sabo versus Shamrock or Dragon versus Garling? Hashtag BLM. Hashtag PETA. Y'all are so funny, man.
Oof. I would really like Dragon versus Garling.
Yeah, me too.
More than Sabo versus Shamrock.
I don't know the Sabo versus Shamrock. I mean, I can see it. I just don't know.
There's no exciting narrative to it.
Yeah. Other than just I'm the royal guy. I'm the top not royal guy. You know what I mean?
I think, and honestly, interaction would be more interesting between Shamrock and Blackbeard. If he thinks that Shanks, then,
that would be interesting.
That would be more interesting.
I actually like that idea a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. But yeah, I would love to see Dragon vs. Garling. Another 12 months. Nakama status from Cuddy Flam, whole year. It says, and what of his heart?
Oh my goodness.
This last one, and then we'll do the chapter again.
Okay. Another 10 from Anthony Herrera. It says, what's good, gang? Miss super chatting, y'all.
Oh, thank you.
But what is up with the Scopper Gabon hype? Rayleigh saving Zoro was more impactful than Gabon holding himself back from his son. Hashtag Blackbeard Gang.
It's his son.
More impactful, how do you mean? Like, for the story? Because, like, Zoro's a main character. You know what I mean? But,
so, it wasn't necessarily about, who they saved or going back. It was more like the hockey flex, right? Where, we saw Ray, he saved Zoro, but then we saw him clashing with Kizaru, right? And it didn't really tip in his favor in that fight, It wasn't like he was flexing out his hockey where he, beat Kizaru. Where this one, Gabon just kind of ran through Sommers, you know? So it just at that level, what we're seeing with the Knights, that's it looked, the hockey flex looked more impressive because Oda was still hiding Ray's ability.
All right, Guys, we're going to go back into Super Chats, so please just wait on it. We're just going to hit the chapter, and then we'll do the first, 4 pages, and then we'll go right back to it. So you're not going to wait too long, but please be patient, okay? If you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video. All right. So the chapter opens up with giants charging toward the giant children. Colin cries out that his father, Mr. Ya, fell into the underworld after being wounded by Gunko. The giant children begin weeping in unison to their parents. Amid the chaos, a random giant spots Gunko floating in the distance. Another giant, sensing the emotional tension, urges the children to come to them. Just then, the lead giant in the group approaches Colin, but is suddenly struck by St. Somers' thorn ability. The thorns pierce his body, and he collapses in agony. The children, confused and scared, ask what's happening, only for Gunko, under Imu's control, to scream, "Silence!" A wave of Conqueror's Haki bursts forth, knocking out the nearby giants and the children. Even those stationed at Branch 8 and Oris Castle appear to be affected by the shockwave. Dory and Brogy are stunned by the overwhelming force they just sensed, while Yarul looks on with intense focus. Imu then summons a massive pitchfork, which she uses to call down cannons from above. The cannons fire, obliterating the remaining giants chasing her. In the next panel, we get a full shot of Gunko, now transformed. She has wings, a pointed arrow-shaped tail, and wields this enormous pitchfork. Imu declares, "All resistance must be quashed. Is this the best thy sleep tids can do, Killingham?" Killingham responds, "Not so, Great One. The nightmare holes remain open. From every nightmare on this island, more will spawn. These are beings born of dreams with no concept of death. They can be revived at any time by my command." So, Seb, what did you think about the beginning of this chapter?
All right, so a couple things. One, I low-key thought Imu's Conqueror's Haki Blast would have been, more pronounced.
Yes.
I thought, I don't know why, I thought I was going to see, the rumblings of it show Luffy and then be like, oh, what was that? Something like that. Something a little bit more impactful than what we saw. I wasn't disappointed, per se, but that's just what I was anticipating. So I was like, oh, okay, she's keeping it more low-key. That could be a result of just the body that they're inhabiting, whatever. I don't know what the parameters around that are. I just thought I was going to get, a double-page Joy Boy hockey kind of thing from her, from this, and it didn't happen. So I was like, okay. But I did anticipate Conqueror's Haki being flexed out. So, yeah. All right, so Imu summoning the cannons and then summoning the pitchfork and then growing the wings and everything. Obviously, it's supposed to emulate or mirror, the devil or some sort of, satanic figure here. Which we'll go deeper into later in the chapter, I'm sure. But I like the utilization in general of this summoning circle. She's summoning stuff to use to fight with, not just summoning people, not just summoning stuff. It's summoning to be effective. These people are trying to attack me, I can summon something immediately to get them out of my way. I can spawn this thing. I can summon this trident. This pitchfork, whatever. I like that as a versatility, just something you could utilize in battle. So that made her a little better for me there. I don't know if that's something specifically to Imu or if it's because they're in Gunko's body. We'll have to figure that all out later. I'm going to assume it's all because of Imu. The way that they talk. Now, we've already gotten a little bit of that in the past with Imu speaking, but it was more, this is the most we've probably ever seen Imu speak for real, at least in this way. It's kind of annoying to me. I'm not gonna lie. Mm-hmm. I was like, I don't want to have to read in old Bible text every time Imu speaks. Mm-hmm. Thou shalt this, thou shalt that, not that. I was like, yo, shut up. Stop talking like that. It made me think back to just Bible study and stuff that I used to have to do when I was a kid, and I don't know, I was kind of annoyed at it. But at the start, when she was talking to Killingham, I liked that she's communicating with them more directly, and how scared they are of her. Like, oh no, great one, it can do more. Trust me. The nightmare holes, they're ever endless. Like they keep spawning. They'll keep spawning. Like they're terrified because we know what happened to Saturn already. They probably know what happened to Saturn already, and they know that can just happen to them too, more than likely. So they got to be on their best behavior. Like you mentioned, Sommers acting quickly to stab the guy with the thing. I didn't even realize that when I read the chapter. It was like I didn't peep that at all. That was Sommers, like Thor and Rose ability that did that. I thought it was Emu who did something to him. So I'm like, yo, they're on there like, oh my god, we have to be on our best behavior, our A game, because Emu's already here, and like clearly they're not happy with what we're doing. So I like that the imposing figure that they are, like it's showcasing throughout, not just with the people that they're fighting, but with the people on their side too. So I like that. I like that in any villain at any point. So and overall, Gunko just looks awesome. Like the wings grown, the arm gone, the bandages, the pitchfork, like it all just looks cool to me. So just stop talking like that.
Yeah,
it's just annoying to me anyway. I don't know if y'all like it or not. It wasn't hitting for me anyway.
All right, Law.
Sorry. I think you didn't touch upon it, but I think we all understand that when this is gonna bring Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji up here, and the other giants, we're guessing Gaban's gonna fall to them. It might not be because we don't know, I guess, how big the underworld is, but it's gonna lead them there because Chopper should know where they are, and at least Gaban should know, right? And they're gonna treat him, and they're gonna get the whole story of what's going on, and if they don't feel it themselves, so I think we're going to this. But it's funny that you brung out like more Emu's Conqueror's Haki, right? More prudent or like more effects. It's funny because I thought that at first, right? Like especially if you compare it to like Joy Boys, what we saw. But I actually thought this is actually pretty far-reaching, right? Because remember where Jaru is, right? Because if you go to 11, like chapter,
it's
11,
murder.
It's murder.
What up, you know, my baby?
I should have started. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, so 11, like 47, I believe it is, or 11:42. I think it's 47. But anyway, if you go to that chapter, they show like a little map of like where they all are on that long tree branch, right?
Branch 8.
Yeah, and that village that they're at is still quite a bit in the distance. They're not right next to it. It's still pretty far. And remember also, too, they're on Elbaf, where everything is huge. So the distance between them is huger, is wider. It's not like a normal island where, like, oh, this would cover the entire island or whatever. No. It's like, they're so far apart from each other. Yet, Imusaki was still able to reach him while being transferred through Gunko. So I was like, it's actually pretty impressive. It could have affected more. Yes, I expected more to knock out ones, but if you see him, he's also in the air, right? Knocking them out, like pretty much showing it. And it had me laughing is when, you know, he tries to go, because Summers already explained about his ability, that when you try to take them, you're going to happen to. You see that happen before? And then he's like, oh, it hurt, like, you know, because he got stabbed. And then, what was that? Silence! Like, it made me laugh so hard. Because that's how I read it. Emu hears what's going on and sees that. He just like, silence, I don't want to hear you.
That's like your mom talked to you when you was crying because you couldn't get a snack?
Not our mom. Shoot.
I don't want to say this, but remember when, like, close your mouth. You want more?
Oh, all right.
Anyway, but pretty much...
Y'all hate when I trauma dump, but Laura's gonna just bring my trauma out.
It's not just you.
All right, man. All right.
I can't breathe.
Stop all that crying.
Shout out to Dad, man. You know what I'm saying?
Anyway, right? But so it made me laugh though. Like this guy's yelling out pain and they're asking what's that, and you just knock them all out because they're being noisy to you, even though like they're being induced by the pain that you guys had caused.
Right.
You know? And it made me think back because we saw that with the other CDs. You know, you couldn't cry out in pain or whatever. You couldn't be happy, where they would shut you up because they didn't like your noise. regardless, right? But like this is a far-reaching, and then he's knocking out like how far-reaching the kids, everyone. Kids kind of normal to expect because they're right there, and they're young, right? So and then I'm gonna bring the Gabon thing. I said, and then that, right? So I thought this was interesting. So like going by, he's summoning like different, like you saw cannons or whatever. I can't go too far because part of what I'm gonna say is also tied on to that, right? But I noticed the same thing of like how the Knights or even the Gorosei, whatever, respond to Emu, right? It's just like when we always talked about, because now it made me question: is all their conquerors? Does Emu have 5 conquerors underneath him, or is it all just his conquerors?
They're just conquerors farming.
Because the reason why is because, from what we understand, right, how to get a conqueror at your side, if you can't beat them to submission because they're gonna fight against you. Mm-hmm. You're right. If you try to overpower a conqueror, the way they stand to that opposition to them, they fight. You know, they don't. Conquerors are known; they don't get beaten to submission. That's not them. They would rather fight and pass try. You know, we can't name one conqueror as like while being repressed and you trying to overwhelm them. They're like, yeah, I just accept it. You know, I'm just gonna. No, they're gonna fight until they pass it. Right. So it made me think of if all of them have this attitude towards Emu, right? It kind of seemed like you guys were submitted into his strength. You know. Mm-hmm. So it's like, is it just his conquerors that they're all using for the Gorosei? Because we don't know if the Knights have it. We haven't really seen any of the Knights have it. You know. But just for the Gorosei, I want to know because also too, you go back to Saturn, but that's a little different. Not saying that he's not a conqueror for doing this, but the way he was when he was getting his life taken away from him, how he was responding towards it. You know, not saying it wasn't conquering, but it just made me think it more was completely submission, more of like what we've seen the other ones do it too. You know, and I know there should be an age difference between Emu and them, so maybe they just like no, he's the rightful ruler, maybe. We're going to find out more, but it's made me second guess if all the Gorosei are 5 conquerors or is it just all Emus. You know, I thought of that because of how they respond to him because conquerors aren't beaten to submission where how we see they are listening to Emu.
That's a great point. Because it makes you think of like, I have the same thought process as you when it comes to conquerors.
Yeah.
But then I think of like Whitebeard being told to shut up. And he's like one of the greatest conquerors in the show.
Yeah.
But I think if you have enough respect for somebody that's above you, in a sense, then I can see like how they can tremble to your wishes. You know, like Doflamingo to Kaido as well, you know? Like when he was a little scared of Kaido. But he would still fight him. I feel like Saturn would still fight Emu. But because his power is given to him from Emu, I think his conquerors, if he does have it, would still falter because his power directly isn't of him; it's from Emu itself.
I think it comes down to who we're talking about, right? So like I can't see because you can just wholeheartedly believe in something, and in this case, with the world government, people, Holy Knights, Gorosei, they could just wholeheartedly believe in Emu as their leader and their god, whatever, right? But how often have they been like challenged by Emu in general to be like, I disagree with this and I stand 10 toes on that? I don't think they run into that as often as the Aces and Whitebeards would, the Odins and you know what I mean? Like these people on the Blue Sea would. So like they're living in a monolith where everybody looks at it in this way. They're not gonna be challenged in that same way that other people living in this Blue Sea would. But like, if they got to that point, Garling's already willing to kill other celestial dragons. You know what I mean? Like, if he's a conqueror, I could see him... You know what I mean?
But I don't think it's about the challenge, what Lawrence is saying. It's just the innate nature of a conqueror.
All right.
Just a conqueror itself. They don't do those things. They've never done those things from any conqueror that we've basically seen. So for them to just do it randomly at this point seems kind of inconsistent. And that's what Lawrence is trying to point out.
Okay.
So that's where he's bringing the idea of maybe Emu is able to store their conqueror's hockey into a person the same way Joy Boy can do it into a knot. The only difference is one is inanimate and one is animate. So it's like, is that even possible? And it brings up the idea. This is where like Conqueror's Haki is starting to get confusing.
Well, we're gonna get deeper into it in the next section of the chapter. But could that be why a certain thing has to happen first? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Like, because we see what happens immediately after this, where it wasn't just I'm doing it. Something had to happen first, and then it changes.
Yeah.
So
that.
You know what I mean?
Even then, when we get to that part of the chapter, I can diffuse that very quickly by some of the events that happen. But it does bring up an interesting question about Conqueror's Haki now that we didn't have before. Because even with Conqueror's Haki, right, the reason why Shanks could probably stop your observation is because he can unsettle you so much from his conquerors that it knocks off you being able to use observation Haki. So he's just kind of transferring his essence into you. And if that's able to be stored, then can you use it of your own free will? But then it comes into the idea of clashing willpowers, right? Because then you have your own, meanwhile you're using somebody else's. So, and then it goes into like the devil fruit aspect, where like devil fruits can consume your willpower if you don't push back against it. Therefore, that's why the impel down demon guards are, you know, forever what they are, because the devil fruit took over their wills themselves. It seems like the ideas are now bouncing back and forth, where we always had Conqueror's Haki is a certain way, has always been this way, and now moving forward, it's starting to change. So I can see like why you're asking these questions, because I also now have these questions. Yeah. So.
Because to me it's like, cause the reason why going back is like, Emu, the way he's running it, it's an absolute dictatorship, right? It's like, there's no question. Like, for example, we even saw a little bit when he was speaking, I desire Vivi. I want this. I want Mother Flame. I want this. The way he rules is like nothing can be questioned. Nothing can be challenged.
Yeah.
It's not, you share your thoughts and then we go back and forth. It's like, what I say is absolute. You follow. And if you don't, you feel my wrath. You know? Like, even to the point where like we saw with Saturn. And this wasn't even discussion. And we don't know how it went out to him, but like, just the disappointment alone. Why did you let Joy Boy escape? There was no middle ground to hear him out. It was like, I wanted you to do this, and you failed. You're done. That was absolute. There's no middle ground. There's no back and forth. That's what I'm gonna say. It's like, so going into it, they must know this. This is how he is. So that's what I'm trying to going with that. For what we've seen with Conquerors, not many Conquerors are in, like, you know, they're not in that way where they just follow the whatever. Because remember, me and you used to get back and forth about the whole Ace and Whitebeard thing, right? Where Whitebeard told Ace, no, we're going to leave Blackbeard alone. But Ace heavily disagreed with it. He goes, no, this dude disrespected you, right? Ace fought against him because his will was like, this wasn't right. I'm not settling for this. And we go back and forth, and we see that again with Luffy and Zoro. Luffy wanted to let Usopp join the crew. Zoro was like, nah, this dude disrespected you, right? How you run the crew is like, it's fine, but like, I'm not going to allow, and case in point, where Zoro goes, I'm not going to allow someone to be my captain who's going to allow this to happen, like run my crew, right? So it's like, if they feel strongly about something, Conquerors are going to speak their mind and say in opposition of what they feel is right, you know?
Yeah, so in a concise way, Lawrence is saying Conquerors don't follow people because of fear.
Yeah.
They follow them out of joint submission in a way where it's
respect.
like, I submit to you, but it's a joint effort. Like, I'm still willing to take your place because you're not doing a good enough job.
Yeah.
Where the Gorosei don't feel that way. They like are completely submissive out of fear. So it brings up that Conquerors question. So that's a great point too, man. I didn't think about that. That's interesting.
Yeah. So I just wonder about that now. Like pretty much I don't see any of them taking a stand against Emu, and that's where most Conquerors, if you do something they don't like, most Conquerors will take a stand for it. You know? So and there's I just thought it was interesting how with Killingram's ability, there's a legit hole.
Yeah, you be saying Killingram on purpose, bro.
I love it. I love it.
On purpose, bro.
It's so funny to me.
Killingram?
Yeah.
All right, bro.
Kilogram, man.
I don't know. I like that better. Pretty much, killing him, right? That it's just a hole where all his sleep tips just come out of, right? And we thought, I guess we just focused on the kids for whatever reason, but the way he addressed it, it's everyone's nightmare on the island.
Yeah.
Where they're just flooding out, like, you know, or a giant hole. So I wonder, what can you do to, like, that giant hole that's in wherever that is? Can you close that up? Can you break that? Can you stop that? You know?
Can you pee in it?
Can you?
Okay.
Why not, you know? And then also, too, so this is no concept of death. So, like, they're destroyed right now or whatever, but no concept of death. Why are they just chilling there? You know, I wonder why it keeps a command from him to, like, keep going again. Because, like, you shouldn't realize, oh, I got beaten. I'm out. So it's just interesting possibility. But, yeah, that's all I have for now until the next part.
All right.
Yeah, y'all too funny, bro. Nah, the chat is just trolling you about the kilogram things.
So Lawrence did touch on the Conqueror's Haki thing, but I kind of want to dive into the Emu's Conqueror's Haki just a bit. This leans into power scaling a bit, but I've always been fascinated by Conqueror's Haki and how it works. From what we've seen, it appears that Emu's abilities channeled through the Gorosei were neutralized by Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki. Even high-ranking vice admirals like Dahl were knocked out. This all occurred from an imbued Haki knot from Joy Boy. So we could say, like, the Haki knot was, like, kind of a vessel, right? Mm-hmm. Now, when Emu uses Gunko as a vessel and unleashes their own Conqueror's Haki, it's clearly powerful. But noticeably, it doesn't knock out certain characters, like some of the giants. So, does this suggest that Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki is stronger than Emu's? Based on what we've seen so far, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
If what I'm saying is true, then Joy Boy didn't lose because he was weaker. He lost for other reasons. And this is what I've kind of mentioned before. Just like how Garp couldn't change the Marines, or how Odin couldn't save Wano from Orochi and Kaido, strength alone isn't enough to win the bigger battles. And I know somebody's going to use that against me and Sebastian's arguments about Blackbeard. But whatever. All right. Killingham's ability is absolutely insane. He creates nightmare holes, a constant source of sleep tids that fight for him, and on top of that, he can respawn the sleep tids, making them nearly unbeatable to anyone without good observation if they can't locate him. I've been saying that same thing about Anel. So to me, this has to be Killingham's awakened ability. For sure. Honestly, Killingham alone is capable of handling almost anything on his own. In my opinion, his power is definitely stronger than Somers's and Gonko's, as of right now to me. Also, when I saw the hole, I thought of Gears of War.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yo!
When the locusts used to come through the holes.
I didn't think of that. Oh my god.
You remember playing Gears of War? Yeah, they used to come through the holes. Yeah, and then you had to throw a grenade in the hole and then it'd destroy the hole. Yeah.
Oh!
Yeah. So I thought of that. It was so funny. I was like, oh, man. As for Gonko's image, all right? There was a lot of people asking during the live chat if Lawrence and Lionel were going to continue reading One Piece or they were going to quit the podcast overall. And at first, I didn't know where the chapter was going until I saw more of it. And then I said, oh, they're not leaving. And I was like, this is going to be why. All right? This is for all the people that were scared for Lawrence and Lionel to leave because you don't watch my live reaction. Oda has never dived into actual religion and used... I don't know how to say it correctly because I didn't write it down. But he doesn't go all out on religion and put it into the manga itself. He always takes aspects of religions or mythologies or folklores, and then he adds it into his story as a piece to dreams and hopes and desires, right? So the same way devil fruits are made through hopes and desires is the same way everything else that can't be explained in One Piece is going to be explained. So when there's shows like Black Clover that speak directly about devils, those devils come from like a different dimension, right? It's an outside world from the world that Asta and crew are already in. Where One Piece, everything is birthed into the world already. And it's through devil fruits and willpower. So what I would say is that there are no devils, and then I'll go more into it in the next couple of pages as to why there are no devils, but it's just the representation of what a demon or a devil would be in One Piece through the hopes and imaginations and desires of people who wished evil upon others. Okay? So this is their depiction, the same way Nika happens to be all white. You get me? Mm-hmm. So even though it may look like something, Oda's never said, this is it. You know what I'm saying? So there is no like heaven or hell in One Piece. It's really just where they are. This is what it is. And that's how I look at this. So I'll just leave it at that. So Lawrence and Lionel, in my belief, are not leaving at this point because I believe that's how they see it too. Until there is added spirituality and other aspects of something that's traditionally not One Piece anymore. Because then if that is true, if this is a devil or demons, then this isn't One Piece. It just isn't. Like that doesn't exist in One Piece. And I tried to say it before, that's a little fantastical. It's a little too fantastical for One Piece, as crazy as that sounds. Yeah. Because One Piece is still grounded in its own reality. And everything is explained through devil fruits. Okay? All right, enough talking about that. All right, next I wanted to call out something interesting. What if I told you that Vegapunk, and I didn't write this down, what if I told you that Vegapunk somehow got some of Imu's lineage factor and gave it to Stussy?
And that's why she can do the vampire thing?
that's why she has vampire wings.
I mean...
That would be crazy.
That would be kind of wild. I don't know that Imu would be cool with that.
Oh, he most definitely would.
I mean, he didn't know about the Kuma aspect.
What? He might, or she might still be cool with that. As long as you give me access to the body.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But... how would he get it? That's what
exactly.
Because I don't think Vegapunk knows who Imu is. You know what I mean?
We don't know that.
No, but he could have gotten it technically from any Gorosei member. Like he went to visit them, and if
peep game, if he read what's happening in those Ohara books or through Elbaf, because he's been there before, he might have read about Imu itself. Because it was written down 800 years by Nefertari Lily, probably. Who knows, bro? Or even Joy Boy.
I will say, I think actually Imu does know about Vegapunk. Strangely
enough,
enough,
around, you mean?
Imu knows about Vegapunk.
Of course, Imu knows about Vegapunk. I'm talking about what Vegapunk know about Imu.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I swear you said that one. Okay. Never mind.
Yeah. So I was thinking a little bit of that. Everybody's been saying like Imu is holding a trident. Oh, not a trident. A pitchfork.
Or whatever.
Yeah, it's like Broker made a point about how it's like a devil's pitchfork because the US's depiction of it would mean like, the arrows on the ends and yada yada. And I was like, yo, honestly, bro, it might be a pitchfork, but it looked more like a trident to me. Maybe I want it to be fishman related. There's been questions before that Imu might be part fishman. We have no idea, but if so, this could be like the ultimate foreshadow because of Arlong and all the, Hordy and the importance of Fishman Island and wanting it to be destroyed. And how crazy would it be if it was like, what's this dude's name from Boondocks? The black guy.
Meaner?
Nah, the black guy that hates other black people.
Ruckus.
Yeah,
Uncle Ruckus.
if he's like the Ruckus of One Piece, he just hates all other fishermen. Meanwhile, he's a fisherman. You know what I'm saying? Or they are fishermen.
That would be crazy.
That would be funny as hell to me.
I wonder how Garland would take
You know what I'm saying? He'd be like, yo, the whole time we were being ruled by a person who's a fisherman.
It's going to be like Dave Chappelle show.
And I traveled all the way back in time
Bigsby
to call you a hunk. I divorced my wife because she married a black man.
Yo. We can't actually quote the Chappelle show out here.
Yeah,
but
we
gonna
probably
get
can't.
canceled.
But peep game. If it is that way, right? Wouldn't it be that Vanderdecken is a foreshadow to Imu? Because Vanderdecken fell in love with Poseidon and tried to murk her? And what if Emu happened to be a Vanderdecken type character and had the chance?
Or whatever?
No, and murked Shirahoshi, the Shirahoshi of their time. So the Poseidon of their time, because Poseidon doesn't exist without Joy Boy. I mean, without Nika, throughout every single world that's existed. So that would be kind of crazy, right? And then I don't know, bro. I just think it's so poetic if it is like a fishman, low key. Like Emu's just a fishman.
It would be funny. The reveal would be funny. I would love to see Garlic and their reaction to that.
Mm-hmm.
That would be pretty wild.
They'd be like, this whole time, you could never give these nothing.
Hey, man, first character we see after the little Emu thing is Jinbei, man.
Yeah, bro. So, it's definitely a crazy image of Gunko. I will say that for sure. Oh, and later on in the chapter, I thought the hair being longer would indicate that Emu is probably a chick. But later on in the chapter, we see other people with like other forms that have longer hair. And I'm starting to think that, well, that doesn't matter anymore. So, but that was kind of it that I had to say about the beginning of the chapter. Very interesting. My mind was blown watching it. I was like, oh my God, what is going on? But yeah. All right, let's get back into the super chats. Guys, if you haven't liked the video yet, please like the video. We are going to jump into super chats for, what time is it? 6:57. We'll read it until 7:10.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we got another 5 from Majin D. Sage. It says, Ref, do something, please. There's got to be a flagrant on Emu. Got to be a 97-yard penalty or something. Yeah, Emu was crashing out a little bit. Thank you, Majin. We got another 2 from Azimba. It says, Lionel better be here. # maybe next year Knicks with a broken heart. # BBC. Thank you, Azimba. Yeah, tough out for my Knicks, man. Another 5 from Evan Bridgeford. It says, what's good, Top Gang? Ready for another banger chapter and theories. Question, who's got more drip, Crocodile or Do Flamingo?
I'd say Crocodile.
The Flamingo was definitely more flamboyant and pimpish.
I'd say Croc.
I'll go Dofi. It's close, though. That golden hook is hard, though.
It is.
That's tough, bro. You think his hand is actually gone?
Yeah.
Or you think it's just like...
Yeah. Whitebeard may have took that, man.
I hope. We got another 25 months at Yonko status. From the broker, it says, hope I am lucky enough to call in to talk about my emu/devil theory being proved right on the pod years ago. Yeah, that was episode 127, I believe. Can't wait for your thoughts on the chapter and what it all means. Much love from the broker with heart emojis. Yeah, we told broker that he'd come through, but he's got to have new heat, though. Need new heat from broker. Another 2 from CGI Repairman. Sorry, guys. Lionel broke again.
He's like a McDonald's ice cream machine.
Oh, man. Another 2 from Off-Brand. Yo, Emu really started shooting laugh masks off. Love y'all. Yeah, man. Shoot or shoot. Another 5 from Buzzgroove.
Duke Dennis, what's up with you?
What?
No.
What? You call it the glow, really? Another 5 from Buzzgroove. With what's happening now, how much longer do you think Elbaf will be? Where do you think we'll go next? Oh, man.
It's probably like 60 more chapters, bro.
Yeah, bro. I would have been stretching these arcs out. Egghead was much longer than I thought it would be. And we're seemingly just at the beginning of Elbaf for real. But we'll see. I'd say 60 more chapters is probably accurate. We got another Yonko for 27 months from Firearms. It says the Blicky agenda is real. Hey, man, anytime you can pull one out. Yeah, man, start squeezing. Shoot first, ask questions later. Another 5 from Roberto Figueredo. Wow, so Top been around for 3 years, 11 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days. Oh, okay.
Yeah? Oh, yeah, we're about to come up on our 4-year anniversary.
Oh, snap. I didn't repeat that. That's crazy.
I didn't know that at all. That's what's up. Another 20 from Wade the Asian, episode 206. Happy mother effing late birthday, Sebi Webby-chan. Hope the freshest unk has a good one. # Larry the Gaslighter. # Seb the Unk. # Law versus the Animal Kingdom. Thank you. I appreciate it, man. Another 20 gifted memberships from Roy Stokes, the legend. Thank you, Roy. And another 5 gifted from Roy.
Thank you.
25 from Roy. Appreciate it, man.
Always going crazy.
If you are receiving these memberships, throw the Nakama fist up in the chat. Or just W's.
Yeah, say thank you.
Another 7 Canadian from Jonathan Keys. Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji better pop out swinging next chapter. Shake my head. Man. Been like 5 chapters. Hashtag where is Luffy? We know where Luffy is.
But I got the itis, man.
Mm-hmm. Another 2 from Wade the Asian. What jutsu you doing over there, Larry? LOL. Yeah, you was throwing up gang signs earlier, bro.
I was throwing up jutsus, bro.
We got another 2 from Project Iceman. Emu, Murica breathing, first form, second amendment. We didn't even get to that part yet. Another 5 from God Left Me Unfinished. Well, you left this super chat unfinished because you didn't say anything. So, thank you. Next time, let us know your thoughts. Another month at Nakama Status from Quest the Truth. Yo, what's good, Nakama? Emu after this chapter had me shook. Yeah, Larry was shook too, apparently.
Crazy.
Another Yonko joined the crew with Brazilian volleyballs. Welcome. That's our highest tier of membership. We got another 7 Canadian from Dave Foe. I have been watching podcasts for a few months. Really appreciate you putting this much effort. Emu's going to wash the floor with Luffy and Elbaf. Maybe. We'll see.
You'll be surprised.
We'll see.
Yeah, I think you'll be surprised.
Another 5 from Wade the Asian. You got to ask Marv to make 2 new soundboard sounds. Blackbeard voice. Darkness! Although
that'd be a good one.
That was the Charlie Murphy one, or the Dave Chappelle one. And Deb, the other episode, he's always on the ship. He was always on the ship. Oh, yeah, the Ace thing. I forget. I keep forgetting I said that.
I think it's going what we said, because remember I said Blackbeard was saying darkness when he took out, what's his name?
Maybe. Another 2 from God Left Me Unfinished. Wants to shout you boys out. Hope y'all good. Yeah, man, we're good. Thank you. Appreciate the super chats, man. Another 2 from Luis Gonzalez. We're about to see Bugs Bunny versus Elmer Fudd. That's great. Another 2 from Sleeping Cavendish. It says, Law going to unleash the Domi horse army. Hashtag Law party attacks.
Oh, my goodness.
Another 5 from Misery Avenue. Question for Marv. Who's your favorite character in One Piece so far?
I definitely like Frankie the best.
Frankie? Okay.
Yeah, I think I can relate to him the most. And I like his design. He's kind of like Jim Carrey mixed with like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Like Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura.
Yeah.
Okay. We got another 2 from Yabsera. It says, please come out to DreamCon next year. I wanted to go this year.
Yeah, we want to go
back to back MomoCon, DreamCon. I don't know how y'all be doing that stuff, man. I don't know how y'all be doing all that.
Hopefully we go to that con next year.
Yeah, be cool. We got another 5 Australian from Takeem 2421. Finally managed to save a bit for the Larry Tax from working as Law's business partner. Hashtag Larry Tax. Hashtag Law's business partner. Hashtag wade in the water.
Oh my God! Don't be sleeping.
Wild.
Don't sing songs like that.
How'd you get paid at all?
Yeah, like I said, you should get paid.
Another 20 from Miracle Di Mayo. Larry, stop talking bad about Brook. He took on a Yonko. Did you be talking bad about Brook?
I'll be hyping Brook sometimes.
They're referring to when you were coming at him, but you were trolling.
Oh yeah, the him being a bad dad thing.
Yeah. That.
That's not trolling.
He had no information.
Bad dad.
He had no information to say that. Anyway,
y'all be supporting these deadbeats, and that's y'all problem.
All right, I gotta continue this one. And if he's a bad dad, instead, because they asking for you, hashtag Law D Horse, hashtag Milkman Law, hashtag Mr. Busted Open, hashtag Law D Dope, hashtag Obstacle Course Dad, hashtag also Nick's laughing emoji. Why you gotta laugh? Why I gotta catch a stray in there, man? It's officially baseball season, okay?
They've been on Laws lately, bro.
And I didn't even say the Busted Open thing. That was Lionel.
I mean, that's your twin, bro.
Yeah. That's your Gunko.
Another 5 from Matthew Borchardt. Sorry. It says, creating a drinking game. Take a sip every time Law says right, gets you messed up.
No, bro. No. I edit him and I know how much he says it. Absolutely not. We will all be drunk 5 minutes in.
Right?
Oh, man.
5 minutes, bro.
We got another 2 from Diamond Life. It says, are you guys going to Anime Expo in LA this year? I think the game plan is, right?
We might, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're trying to. We got another 10 from SC615. Since we're getting more Brook lore this late in the game, I'm bringing this theory back. Frankie's real name is Cut D Flam, and Vega Lilith will build a new Pluton to combat the old one. I agree with the latter part. I don't agree with the Cut D Flam part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Y'all can't say that to everybody.
Everybody can't be a D, bro.
Yeah, bro.
And I'm no offense to Frankie, I just don't see it personally.
Yeah, I don't see it either.
I don't think we gain anything from it personally. Another 40, whatever this is, from Zoro D Joyboy. Thank you. It says 3 a.m. here. By the way,
3:30 a.m.
3:30 a.m. here. By the way, hashtag using Sharingan with blood red eye. Well, be safe, man.
Who hurt you?
Yeah,
who'd you lose?
Who'd you lose, man? Another 5 months at Yonko status from Cam the King. Love y'all boys, especially my brothers in faith. If you know, you know. Gotta exclude Seb, though, because I cannot forgive him for saying kid loses to Lucci. I didn't say that. Hashtag JK, much love, LOL. Okay. I didn't say that.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
Another 5 from Alan. It says, even though Joy Boy was likely stronger than Emu back in the day, current Emu is far stronger than Joy Boy ever was. I don't know about all that. Reminds me of Kaido and Odin. We gotta see more from both of them, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I don't know if I'm ready to say that yet. Another 2 from Johnny Blorp. Ocean Sovereignty versus Bajron Gun. Hashtag girth control. Okay.
I would say Bajron Gun. Because it's consistent punching, where it's more like a wave of conquerors. Like they'd have to keep doing ocean sovereignties in order to combat against it.
The way beam struggles work, you kind of make a contact point and then it's force to force.
Yeah.
Is it ocean sovereignty with Kaido and Big Mom, or is it just Big Mom?
That's what ocean sovereignty is.
No, but she has one too, no? Like there's an ocean sovereignty.
Yeah, that's losing by itself.
Okay. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah.
Another 5 from Pastor C. Theory, I think Blackbeard's fruit can also counter Emu, seeing it turns the user into darkness, and you cannot flip darkness into further darkness. Well, I agree, but mostly because I just think what Emu's doing is a devil fruit in general. So,
yeah.
But that's an interesting
Let's
take.
do this one, and then we'll go back into the chapter.
Okay. Another 20 from Debatable Anime. What's up, guys? We're building Gabor Legacy of the Watchers. Think Book of Enoch times The Witcher times AOT. Dark anime vibes meets Dead Sea Scrolls. Can we send a chapter and mock-up? Would love your thoughts. Hashtag the real Yonkos. Well, shout out to the Debatable Anime. We met them at MomoCon.
Yeah, our boys.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, throw it over here.
Yeah, send it our way. I don't know if we connected on Discord or not yet, but send it.
Yeah, the video description has the P.O. box.
Yeah.
That you can send it. Yeah.
All right. And if you guys haven't, go check out Debatable Anime.
Yeah, guys, we're going to get back to the super chats, so don't worry about that. Just, let us jump back into the chapter because we've been doing the super chats for a little bit. But like the video if you haven't. There's almost like 800 of you guys, so hit those likes up. It'll send this to the algorithm, and yeah. All right. We return to the chapter as the Straw Hats look on at a recovering St. Somers. Emu shouts down to him, commanding that he lead the line of whelps, referring to the giant children. Somers rises and replies, "At once, as you command." Usopp is stunned that Somers is still alive. Jinbei questions whether the woman in the sky is the same one they previously encountered, because if so, she's completely changed. Robin asks about Luffy's group, and Nami responds that Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji aren't present. Brook adds that Haruden's group is also missing. How unfortunate, they're all currently in the underworld instead of here. High above, Emu hovers in the air, watching as the giants led by Brogy and Dory approach. Emu acknowledges both by their epithets and announces their total dominance over Elbaf. Emu proclaims them the true kings now. Brogy glares at Emu and asks if they're aligned with the Holy Knights. He then grabs Gunko's body and crushes it in his grip, shouting, "You're the one who drove Elbaf into madness." Brogy tells the other giants, "Push forward," while he holds Emu back. He demands to know, "How many Holy Knights are there?" In response, Imu tells him that he'll soon meet Beard Hill Yarul, sever his head, raise it to the sky, and proclaim, "We are the kings of Elbaf." As Imu speaks, they summon a mysterious book from thin air. Something emerges from the book, and Brogy yells, "Never!" defying Imu's authority. "This is our land. You don't get to decide our fate." Suddenly, a gun and dagger manifest from the book. Imu grabs the dagger and stabs Brogy's hand, then points the gun at his wrist, declaring, "It will not be for nothing." They fire. The blast severs Brogy's hand and arm. Imu shouts, "I give the power of evil." So, Law, what are your thoughts on this part of the chapter?
Yeah, so this part of the chapter was crazy. One, so we see that Summers is still alive somehow, right? And we saw that the fact that he's still feeling it, but he's slow to get up and everything, but he's still alive because we thought, it didn't grow back when Gaban first cut off the hand. So then when we're thinking he was probably a similar attack or even a stronger version of Haki when he took off his upper torso / his head. Yeah, we saw him wearing still alive, but now he's getting up. So I wonder now. It's all right. It made me think of before, and I swear I read this, but me and Lana will get back and forth about what Ray said when he was explaining it to Luffy, right? I swear that when I was reading it, I don't remember if it was anime or manga, but Ray was talking about that Haki, right? It allows you to hit Logia or your people who are intangible or use your ability on them by making them more vulnerable, right? And then Sebastian Lionel's like, no, he's just saying you have Haki. It just you use Haki. Once you use Haki, it just hits them, you're able to touch them. And I was like, no, I swear he said it kind of makes them more vulnerable so you can hit them. Not that it's all right, it's an absolute. Because I'm thinking, for example, but where does that go with strength? If your Haki's not strong enough versus someone else's ability and they're strong with their, wouldn't that match up? Wouldn't you have to raise your Haki to a higher level to fight someone who's more proficient or stronger with their ability or even stronger with their Haki, right? So I'm thinking, to me, the whole argument was, I doubt if you use a little bit of Haki. For example, we saw back then pre-time skip, Luffy was fighting, but he didn't have a master of Haki, but he was using hints of Haki or traces amounts in it against Blackbeard, right? When they saw each other in Empo down. Blackbeard even commented, your Haki got stronger, right? Luffy has no idea, so he's not really brewing Haki into his attack, right? But there's trace amounts in it. So to me, I was I find it hard to believe that little trace amount is going to full on take on a Logia and hurt them. I'm no, you would kind of have to raise your level, your mastery of it, your skill over it to really attack them. So it can make them more vulnerable, So that's what I was thinking. So I wonder if the reason I'm bringing that up is I wonder in this case right now, it's for example, what we saw what Gaban just did to Summers, right? I wonder if that in a way, it's all right, he hit him with the Haki, but it made him weak and vulnerable to if you keep attacking, you could take him out. You finish the blow or whatever, right? Because you put enough into stop the regeneration for a little bit, right? Because I don't think we see Summers again until where you went. We saw him later on, but I don't think where you went just to cover that because you see his hand, whatever, right? But I was thinking, I wonder now, if you need to put more or whatever, it opens up a way to you could attack them more, especially with someone whose ability, because we're all believing this is Emu's ability, right? You have to regenerate from Emu's ability. That it allows you a chance with stronger Haki or weakens them to where you could put finishing blows on them, or just because to me, how do you explain that Summers is still able to regenerate? If it wasn't all right, your Haki allows them to be more vulnerable for you to do so. So it's all speculation, I guess, but we'll find out more, I guess, once it goes on. Right. And I liked how, for example, the Reversi, we need our fighting force. Jimmy's here, but he's already captured. But they all called up where is the Master Trio? Right? It's we need our strongest hitters to combat this because we're in a pinch right now. We're not hitting our own. We need them. And because I don't think we usually get that. It's just they kind of take on and they handle the situation. But no, we need them here. So I think that showing the strength of the top three. Right? Oh yeah, we did see Summers' hand. Yeah, because I just went to the next panel. We see it. The hand that wasn't regenerating before is kind of forming back. Right? It's probably a slower regeneration because like you said, it wasn't. Usually we saw when Gunko first got attacked by Usopp, she blew up. then we see it regenerating immediately. But this one, it was like, it's not regenerating. So now this one, I think that's what I go about the vulnerability thing, because now it took way longer for it to restart, even getting close to start regenerating. And now when we see him now, it's still not fully regenerating, but it's still slowly forming. So that's the thing in the hockey, what I'm guessing, it weakens it to make it more vulnerable to acceptable to other attacks, right? But you could still, in this case, with Emu's ability, still regenerate, but it just takes a longer regeneration and probably more output. Or maybe it amplified because Emu's presence is here. I don't know. You know, maybe that's why he couldn't before, but Emu's presence here using his hockey, it affected Somers where it made them stronger in that healing way to affect it. I guess we'll find out, right? And going into Emu, I know we're seeing everyone's talking about Emu's form. I don't believe this is Emu's true form with the wings and everything. Because to me, it looks different from when we saw what Sabo saw, right? So I wanted to wait because now we see a little bit. You didn't get to.
He ended right here.
Oh, he ended right there. Okay, so I'll wait to that part, right? But I think from what I'm seeing here, I would just say this because we got that far. I believe that Emu's ability is like a summoning ability, right? A summoning and, in a way, contract ability. But I'll save that other part for later, right? Seeing how he keeps summoning things. Like, he's able to use the Gorosei and all the Knights are able to use a summoning thing, right? He's able to summon a book. He's summoned a gun, a dagger. He summoned cannons. So it's like that. But I think there's more to it. Because you know how a lot of times abilities is this thing, but you're able to do a lot of other things, like Law's ability, for example, operating room. But his ability is kind of far-reaching. What he's able to do. I think Emu's ability is more on a grander scale with it, and especially he's had over 800 years or whatever with this ability, probably. So how far he was able to grow with the ability, you're seeing how much he's able to do. So I think we'll see more about that as well. And I know you brought up too, the longer hair didn't really see that that he was like a woman. I will say this, and I wonder if it's just because he's in Gunko's body, but I will say the mannerisms that is being portrayed in Gunko is feminine. So I always to me, I was in 100% belief that Emu was a man, right? Or is a man. But seeing even the way she was standing when she was leading on the hockey, that was a feminine pose, right? The way she drew out the book, that was kind of feminine to me. Then later on, when you see him, you got the part where she shoots. All this kind of seems feminine to me, right? And I wonder maybe
a little leg kick.
Yeah. So I was like, is Emu a woman? That would be first, because I was not expecting that. Because the reason why I say that's because, like, for example, when we saw, it is a little different, but when we saw Law switch Smoker and Tashigi's body, or switch them and Smoker's and Tashigi, the way Smoker was carrying himself in Tashigi was manly. It wasn't feminine at all. But when you saw Tashigi and Smoker's body, it was more feminine. But we're seeing this one, and I see more feminine mannerisms, made me question, I wonder if Emu is actually a man or not. I don't know. Yeah. It could just be nothing. Maybe it's just the fact that he's just in that body, whatever. But it just made me question certain things, in that aspect. But yeah, I guess we'll wait to see on that. And I'll wait for the rest of what I want to say until we go over there. But that's all I have for now.
All right, Seb.
All right. As a Monster Trio lifer, it's good to see Nami and them looking for the Monster Trio with Jinbei right there. I took joy in that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all can call me a fisherman racist all y'all want. I don't care. I've been standing 10 toes on the Monster Trio as stronger than Jinbei since forever. It's good to know that Oda trying to show us that too. But we're neither here nor there. I like Robin struggling. Like, I was complaining for a couple chapters in a row about her not putting in the work. She's actively like, I can't just sit by and let this happen. Like, for 3 chapters in a row. So I got to shout her out when she's doing what I asked of her. So she's doing it. Somers regenerating, I was like, yo, bro, maybe take a couple plays off, man. Like, I know Emu here and you got to lock in or get clipped, but, like, you clearly not good right now. Like, you clearly still struggling. You huffing and puffing.
My body different.
Yeah, right. Your hand not working. Shout out to Brogy, bro. Just pulling up and yoking up Emu like that. Not what I would have did. Not how I would have went about it. You know, you got a weapon on your back. Like, maybe use that. You don't put yourself out there to be susceptible to things. But I guess you want to grab somebody, limit their mobility. I'm not mad at it. He gonna regret that, though. Because everybody just saying Blicky agenda in the chat. Second Amendment rights and all that. She summoned that gun and that dagger so quick, man. And I have two feelings about that. Similar to what Lauren said, I had my little mini theory last episode about like blood contracts or whatever. I kind of got minor confirmation about that. With what she said, I give you the power of the devil of evil, and the way she was speaking about like you'll become this and take over Elbaf for us. Like she's trying to push the narrative of like, yo, you guys become the kings. It's weird to me too, though, that they basically need to have a monarch in order to be ruled in their mind. Like, they can't comprehend a non-king-led nation. That's kind of funny to me. But they're like, nah, never, we won't do that. And then immediately the summoning of the gun and the knife or the dagger, stab, and then shoot. I was like, damn.
Yeah.
Hold
One
up.
shot.
I was like, yo, hold up, bro. My man Brogy's arm is gone. Like, his hand is just gone. Like, that's wild. And I was hyped at it, but then immediately I was like, yo, you supposed to be God, but you summoning guns to shoot people with?
Mm-hmm.
That's not very divine of you. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, does that make sense to y'all?
Yeah.
Like, I don't see God going, all right, let me get a gun that's man-made guns. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not of nature. That's not divine. That's not any deities whipping out a gun to shoot somebody. That's a regular person who's been through regular life and been like, yo, I use guns sometimes. But that's neither here nor there. But the stabbing and then the I give thee the power of evil. It's funny that that's how Emu themselves views it. Because a lot of times you have these gods that look at themselves as just. I am justice. I am the righteous authority over these other people. I have the right to dominate over you guys because I am God. Emu is outright actively saying, no, this is the power of evil. And I'm dominating because I want to. Mm-hmm. Via evil. I'm granting you evil powers. Everything I'm doing is actively evil. So there's been a lot of discussion about like what the powers actually are. To me, my mind went to some sort of ancient Zoan that's either like Lucifer or some demonic power or being that I'm not familiar with. I don't know all the lores of the world. But to me, like, if you're going to be giving people the power of evil, it's because you're spawning from some other already evil, like, thought process. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So, well, you mentioned, like, Stussy with vampires or whatever. Like, I don't know enough about vampire culture. I don't know enough about a lot of these evil, like, devil-worshipping kind of figures. But to me, I think it's probably just a mythical Zoan model insert demonic figure.
Yeah.
But that's where my mind has gone. The book itself, I wonder if, like, what else is stored in the book? Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? If there's going to be other insane abilities, people, weapons, etc. that are in that book. Like, because right now, this is just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I know I was clowning, like, oh, God wouldn't just whip out a sword or a gun like this, but, like, you could store anything in the book, technically, mm-hmm. and summon it and utilize it. So I've already seen tridents or pitchforks or whatever. So I'm curious what else is in the book and what else Emu or Gunko in this case will have access to. But R.I.P. to Brogy's arm, because damn. Mm-hmm. I was like, hey, yo, I was so shocked at that, yo. I asked the poll in chat, like, is it GG's for his arm or is he getting it back? Because I don't know if he getting it back, bro. I don't know. I think it might be over. Oda's been willing to handicap some people. Yeah. Sometimes they get the arms back, sometimes they don't, but we'll see. But I was very intrigued by this part of the chapter. And again, gods don't whip out blickies. No offense to the blicky agenda. No offense. I'm blicky, I'm team blicky all day. But guys don't do that. Guys don't do that.
Lawrence's face is so funny.
They don't, bro. I mean, what are you talking about?
No, that's more like the you Blicky team is crazy.
Why not? Hold up. Protect yourself. Protect yourself at all times. You know what I'm saying?
Bruh.
All right.
No, I was just impressed at how easy it was just to shoot the arm off.
Yeah.
I mean, the hand off.
Yeah, bro. It's kind of wild. But that's it for me.
All right. So I didn't have the ability to write notes the way I wanted to, even though I wanted to. So I made a comment on my live reaction that something Lawrence basically touched on, and it was regarding Somers' regeneration abilities. He is starting to regenerate. So I brought up two options. The first option was that if you have Conqueror's Haki, but you necessarily don't have enough to assert your essence into the person you're fighting, then they will still be able to get off whatever specialty they have because they probably have a Haki stronger than what your Conqueror's Haki is at that moment. So if Gaban attacks Imu and Imu gets hurt because it is Conqueror's Haki, that's the only thing that could hurt me, but Gaban's Conqueror's Haki isn't stronger than Imu's, then Imu could just regenerate again. It's just probably going to happen a little bit slowly. That's fair to say. Mm-hmm. The second option is Gaban, when he attacked Somers, he wasn't fading away into death. Mm-hmm. He was actually alive. He was kicking. His will itself was strong. So if he happens to get attacked like he just did and he's falling out into distance, then his essence into Somers is no longer taking effect because Gaban's, all of his willpower is on himself now. So none of the willpower is left over in Somers. Pause. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that's why he's able to regenerate now compared to last time where he just wasn't able to. Those are my two theories right now.
Okay.
No concrete on either or, but that's just my thought process. I want to call out, and this is something I've had an issue with Dory and Brogy for a very, 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 very long time. Ever since Haki started to be explained and how Haki is to be blossomed, there should be nobody in the entire show besides Imu and maybe a couple giants that are older than them that should have an enormous amount of Haki. Dory and Brogy have been fighting for 100 years, back to back. And yet, we have never seen a Haki feat from them on Egghead when they came back, and we're now seeing that they just don't have Haki feats on Elbaf. And for Brogy, who's as experienced of a fighter as he is, because he was on the seas during his Giant Warrior Pirates era, right? Fighting, doing whatever he was doing, and fighting Dory all this time, yet he goes to grab somebody who's flying in the air and clearly emitted Conqueror's Haki that was strong enough to go across the whole island.
And they already identifying other Conqueror's Haki, so it's not like that's an excuse.
Exactly. They identified with Shanks, Joy Boys. They know it exists. They felt it. They saw giants next to them pass out unconscious. Yet Brogy goes to grab Gunko with no Haki attached to the arm. What is the point of that? Mm-hmm. That pissed me off because I'm like, bro, I wanna break the mindset that giants are just like so trash sometimes. Mm-hmm. But like even the most elite of the giants seem to be trash too sometimes. Like yeah, they bodied a vice admiral. That's nothing to me because vice admiral in range of strength, they vary greatly. Mm-hmm. But you can't sit here as experienced as you are, as old as you are, and as knowledgeable as you are, and then be cool with Shanks out of all people, and yet you grabbing people that are holy, they're holy knights, and you grab them without at least Haki hardening? Like, come on, dog. Like, what am I reading, bro? Like, his arm would have never got shot off.
I was going to say, while I agree with your premise, do you think Haki would have stopped the arm from getting taken off like that?
Yo, even if it wasn't, at least it was used. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's my issue. At least use it, bro. Mm-hmm. Like show me something, Dory and Brogy. Like, y'all be mad underwhelming.
Yeah. 100%.
All right, enough complaining about that. I'm sorry for everybody that heard that. All right, anyway, I wanted to point out something. And it's going to show up later, but it showed up now during the part we're reviewing. On Imu's book, there's poneglyph writing on the top of it. It looks like poneglyph writing to me. And then we see later on, there's more poneglyph writing.
Yeah.
So this ancient language is also used through Imu's time. I don't know if that's something that's a book from the ancient times that Imu has confiscated and made their own. This devil fruit power that I think is also a devil fruit that Imu has is it kind of reminds you of Mandio.
Yeah, I thought of that too.
From Big Mom's crew, who was able to keep and store people in the books and then summon the books and summon things out of the books, right? It seems like Imu has a piece of that power. Now I'm going to make a bold theory right now. This is without any research or anything. This is just off the top of the dome. I think Imu's devil fruit power happens to be more than one thing, but I think the main devil fruit power is summoning things overall. It's just summoning. It's a summoning devil fruit. So you see the ritual circle on the book itself. Mm-hmm. I think because the ritual circle, the pentagram is on the book, he's able to summon things from wherever he wants to grab them from, right? Then he gives Gunko the ability to use the pentagrams to summon other beings, like Shamrock and Killingham and Somers, right? But also the Gorosei, Saint Saturn was able to do it too, where he was able to summon the Gorosei to Egghead. And then we see, before they even start attacking, their first attack is using a summoning, and then, using the pentagram, and then using it to shoot cannons. Mm-hmm. Everything else after this also shows the pentagram being able to be used in different ways. So I think the devil fruit is just a pentagram devil fruit.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like his favorite kind of move that he's using out of the devil fruit of whatever it might be. But I think the main power is just pentagram abilities. And then he can use anything out of those pentagrams.
No, that makes sense. I can see that. And that's also, you could because apparently if you could attach it to anything, mm-hmm. you could summon it at anywhere, anything. And that's why he's able to do, I want to get into it later of why he, mm-hmm. I'll explain that later.
Yeah. So the other thing I want to mention, I think this is the reason why he's able to enforce himself into people. Mm-hmm. Because if he has a pentagram, he could probably summon his consciousness to the person that's currently wherever they are. Mm-hmm. Or he can use his pentagram to summon his haki or their haki from Marijoa through that person as well. So it's all pentagram devil fruit technology, basically. And it wouldn't be that far-fetched from what Vegapunk was doing as well with the Wi-Fi that he was controlling all of the satellites with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So I can see the pentagram being this main devil fruit ability right now at this point. It's just used in very creative ways because that's Oda. He does that.
Yeah, and it's probably, add on to what you're saying, that tattoo they keep talking about, it's probably that.
Yeah.
His pentagon writing tattooed on them, why he's able to use that. Yeah.
He just Orochimaru. He just biting people on the neck. You know what I'm saying? Children. Popular idea. Sebastian mentioned it. Blood contracts. You even mentioned it a little bit. Blood contracts. I don't think it's blood contracts. I don't think we're there yet. I think realistically, he used the devil fruit, not the devil fruit. He used the book in order to summon two things. The dagger was to get, to stab Brogy's hand, so Brogy could let go just a little bit, so he can use two hands to grab the gun and then shoot Brogy's arm off. I don't technically think that that's a blood contract. There's also something on the next part of the chapter that says it's even more so that it's not a blood contract, but we'll get into that. But that's just my thought process right now. Mm-hmm. It's simplified of it. So that's really all I got to say about this part. But I was so damn shocked when he blew off Brogy's hands.
Yo,
bro. And then it fell to the ground. I was like, oh my God. Bro, I was literally reading like this, bro. I was like, what is happening? So, yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, oh!
Yeah, bro, I was shocked.
He said, "You took my strong hand."
You took my strong.
But yeah, let's jump into super chats for until 7:45, and then we'll read the rest of the chapter immediately after.
Okay.
And then do the rest of the super chats after that.
All right, we got another 5 from Swifty. It says, "Topped. Do you guys think that Joy Boy lost the war because Emu turned his army against him, which is why they all apologize? Could this happen to Luffy?"
We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
Give us a couple minutes. We're literally about to talk about it very, very soon. Literally very soon. I'll read it, Seb, if it's...
Yeah, mine crashed on me.
I got you. Let me
Mama.
go to it. There's a lot of super chats. All right. The next one is Swifty with the 5 says, "Topped. Do you guys think that
That's the one we just read.
Oh, do you?
But I'm back.
All right.
Number 2 from Straw Hat Squirrel. It says, "Where's the solo leveling theory, Larry? I got a few."
Bro, I completely forgot about it. I did. This week I forgot about it. Sorry.
We got another 20 from Steve-O. It says, "What's up, Top? First time catching the live stream. Been watching y'all for a couple months and loving it.
Oh, thank you.
Keeps it up. Hashtag BBC. Hashtag Larry Berry Taxed." Oh my God. Okay. Another 2 from Kirby. "Would y'all like to see Who would y'all like to see on the next cover story?"
Blackbeard.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Mhm.
Maybe Cross-Killed. Another 5 from Girthquake. "The same way that you would have a sword, you are a Mihawk victim. If you are an animal, you are a Lawrence victim." Hashtag law over Kaido. What? Hashtag Lawrence over Kaido. Hashtag law over child support. Hashtag BBC.
Listen, bro. Lawrence not allowed on Zoe, bro.
Another 5 Canadian from Smooth Weave. "Saturn told Vegapunk advances in tech wasn't needed, but 200 years ago chose to keep Emmett. The only difference being Emu's awareness of it, so he was good?" Question mark.
He didn't choose to keep Emmett.
Yeah, that was...
He chose for them to break it down.
Yeah. Vegapunk hid the fact.
Yeah, they hid it. The scientists hid it.
Yeah. And then Vegapunk found it and just didn't tell them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another 10 from Pastor C. "Following a reverie, Brook was sent off on a mission to get aid, but CD started a game in his kingdom, ending the king and heir Gunko. Upon returning and free of duties, he followed his piracy dream."
Okay.
Maybe. I have a Brook theory coming up. It's a little different, but maybe. Another 10 from Kodo1998. "What's good, Top? Do you guys think Emu can store devil fruits in her book, kind of like Crollo in Hunter x Hunter? I believe that is how she gave the Gorosei their powers. And will Blackbeard go after the book?" Ooh, I never thought of Blackbeard going after the book. And yeah, sure, why not? I'm with it.
Possible.
It could be possible, but I don't think the book... I think the book is just a tool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another 5 from Spencer Jones. "Y'all ever seen the New York DBZ or Dap Up tournament of power shorts before?
Nah.
Hashtag law still regenerating from Baconator hockey." It's funny. Shout out to Spencer Jones. Another 5 from Zoro Top 1. "What if those with the will of D are immune to Emu's power, hence why they're the natural enemies of gods?"
I don't like that.
Yeah, that kind of makes you just special just off the strength of just being born.
Yeah.
I don't know if I like that.
Makes me think of
Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
Nah. It's definitely the power to refuse to be submissive. Yeah.
To me, they lean so much into hockey and Conqueror's hockey for then it to be... Oh, just
you were just born with this red,
with the D family. They're that lineage. Even they tap into lineage, but not in that way.
I think my issue is the people then Law's immune, then Clover's immune. That would
there's
just
whack.
too many not that special people. No offense, but I'm gonna just be real. Mm-hmm. Another 5 from That Ain't Aim. Cover story theory. Yamato's new crew fights Blackbeard's crew to protect Wano's ancient weapon. Would it be worth the long build up? Hashtag missing old OP. Probably. It would. We still didn't need to take this long to get there.
Yeah.
To be honest with you.
Right.
Another 2 from Emerald Starlight 22. Love y'all, especially you, Seb. Thank you. Big blessings to y'all. Appreciate it.
Why especially Seb? You got a crush? What's up, bro?
Another 5.
Crush on me, dog.
Another 5 from Dopey. Who takes it for best hockey feat scene? Hashtag throbbing for Robin. Let's also hear about them juggling effects on Marvel Rivals. Hashtag my Larry tags. Best hockey feat scene. I'm still gonna go Joy Boy unleashing the hockey with Shanks Wi-Fi hawking Green Bull close second.
Word.
a pretty close second. I'm gonna be real with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I would also say Roger clashing with Whitebeard.
Mm-hmm.
I think those are the top 3 for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Another 10 from Julio Garcia, and then there's another thing in Fat Boy.
Oh, I don't play Marvel Rivals that much anymore, so.
Oh. God bless y'all. What do you think about domination versus liberation? Emu and Luffy way of people getting people on their side. Had to pimp slap a donkey to apply for my job with Lawrence, and still honest. Hashtag Larry Tax. I like the themes of it. Domination versus liberation. I think that plays into the whole shows, like like what they stand for. So,
Yeah.
I'm with that.
Mm-hmm.
Another 5 from Larry's Consciousness. Who survives longer, Straw Hats versus world government or law in an 8-feet pool? Wow.
That got dark.
What?
Straw Hats.
Lawrence can swim.
You can swim.
I've been training myself.
He can swim, bro.
How do you...
He saved my life, remember?
You've been
That was
training
like 8
yourself?
feet.
To
6
swim.
feet? No, I don't know.
You've been...
I haven't been back in the pool. I haven't been back in the water for a good minute, but I was teaching myself how to float.
But can you swim?
So a little bit.
So that's a no.
No, I can. My stamina
sure about
is bad. My stamina in the water
sure
is
about
I got
bad.
faith
I'm
in
doing too
Lawrence,
much.
man.
I'm doing too
He
much.
gonna train to fight the fishes. Gotta add to the resume. Another 20 from SC615. Larry, based on your dream scaling, can we say Dragon has highly advanced conquerors? He probably should. His dream is the same as Rock's minus ruling. We don't know that yet. He has the conviction to openly oppose the world government, something no Yonko has done as of yet. Hashtag Larry Tax.
I don't think no Yonko has wanted to take out the Celestial Dragons. They just want to be pirates.
Yeah.
You got to understand, like, even the Yonkos themselves weren't attacked by the world government. Like, they never messed with Yonkos. They were too afraid. Because if 2 Yonkos joined up, it was over for them.
Yeah.
That's what they thought.
Mm-hmm.
So, would Dragon have comparable conquerors? I mean, I don't know, man. He does a lot of non-conquerors hockey type things.
Yeah. Another 10 from Noah Gibbs. I think Emu has multiple devil fruits, but instead of eating them like Blackbeard, they put them in the book as a loophole. We know people can't eat 2 devil fruits, but it was never said objects can't.
That's interesting.
It's an interesting thought, yeah.
Pulling the fruit's power out of the fruit
Via
and
the
giving it
book.
to somebody. That's a lot of like unknown territory, though. I don't know how that would work at all.
It depends on if the book stuff is a devil fruit, because then why is this devil fruit allowed to do that and no other devil fruit can't? Well, I guess no other, because I can't say no other because Blackbeard doing something, but
Blackbeard is doing something.
he's doing something,
Yeah.
which I guess is more credence to this being able to do that. But I don't know. I don't know. It's too early to tell, to be honest with you. The other 2, Canadian from Smooth Weed. Can Luffy and Bonnie, aka Nika form, Reversi Giants back? Maybe. We'll get to the Domi Reversi stuff soon. Trust me, guys.
Yeah. Blind Shepherd with the 10 gifted memberships. Thank you so much. To everybody that received one, say thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, put the knock-fists up. And another 7 Canadian from Gloomy Scorpion. It says, given that Sanji wouldn't hit Bon Clay with Nami's face, do you think he would hit Katarina Devon with a dude's face? Also, Larry, you watch Fire Force Season 3? Question mark.
I've been trying to watch Fire Force Season 3, but it's like so down in quality from Season 1 and 2 that it's hard for me to watch. Plus, there's like a ton of content missing because I've read the manga. So,
Okay.
but it's so funny because Fire Force actually has somewhat of an effect in One Piece now. And I'll get to it.
Okay. Given the Sanji thing, if he knew that there was a woman behind the face, he wouldn't do it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But if he didn't know, he would just swing, and then when he found out, he would feel crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Another 5 from Steven Alexander. If you could fuse 2 named attacks in One Piece, which 2 would you fuse? I'd fuse Thunder Bagua and Urusa Shock, and name it Thunder Shock Urusa Bagua.
Fire Fist Raigo. That's my Bajrang gun.
Send me one of those And I like Kurozu, but those are 2 different things. Like you're gonna be pulling somebody in and then punching them.
That's
There
dope.
we go.
Yeah.
Law? Yeah.
I'm not sure. I just know I've always liked when the 3 worlds, when Zoro says that, but I don't know what else I would attach it to.
Is that the Daisen Sekai, that one? Is that the Three Worlds one?
I think he has multiple
I like that
Three
one.
Worlds, but he has one where he says 3 worlds. I'm like, I don't know.
Three worlds of Shishi Sonson. So he does it 3 times.
I would say it's like,
That would be hard, bro.
it's like hypocritical though. Like it's like contradictory. So
It turns into like a Hashira move instead, but like 3 Shishi Sonsons at once.
that'd be pretty cool.
That's hard, bro.
We got another 2.
That's hard.
Let us know y'all fusions in the chat. Another 2 from Swifty. It says, could Emu have powers similar to Crollo from Hunter x Hunter? This is the 2nd time or 3rd time we've seen that. That's
Damn.
possible. I'm not too familiar with Hunter x Hunter and Crollo. I just know that it has to do with the... Like there's like a band on his head.
Yeah,
or whatever.
he does
He playing music
Nen
and stuff?
attacks from a book.
Okay.
And then he copies like other people's attacks.
So Oda biting again. That's what y'all telling me.
Yo, shout out to Hongi Thongi with the 2. Says, new to this. I need to pay my Larry text, right? No, you don't, miss. Okay? No, you don't. You don't have to. Don't follow these guys. They're very toxic. All right? They're very toxic. And if you're 5'2" and Latina, you're most likely toxic too. No, I'm joking. I'm joking. JD Como, this will be the last super chat before we jump back into the chapter so we can finish up, and then we'll get back to super chats. JD Como with the 50 says, Oda really be researching history. There is an ancient continent called Mu, said to be mythological, but possibly real based on recent research. The citizens were called the Lumerians. This continent was drowned underneath the ocean after the Ice Age. We have no idea what you're talking about.
That sounds crazy.
Yes, we
like
need
a reference pool.
Yeah. We need to see what that means. Can you search it up?
Mu continent?
All right, but guys, I'm going to get back into the chapter. It's the final part of the chapter. All of you have been waiting for this. So if you haven't already, please like the video. It does us wonders. For all those that are waiting for us to read your super chats, please give us a second. We're going to read all of them. If we've missed any, let us know or let the mods know, okay? All right. You guys ready for the final part of the chat?
Yeah, but everything JD Cuomo just said looked crazy on this Google review.
All right. We'll look at it. We'll look at it.
Even in the advanced civilization, all of it's here.
Yeah?
Oda be biting! I'm trying to tell ya! The tree, the Garden of Eden, it's all here.
Is it?
Oda a biter, bro. Please stop.
All right, so as we enter the final part of the chapter, the giants are stunned by the sight of Brogy losing his arm. They demand to know what happened, and Brogy, still in shock, stares at his severed hand on the ground, struggling to believe that Emu actually dismembered him. Hovering mid-air, Emu performs another summoning and declares, in exchange for some measure of thy lifespan, thou wilt receive an undying body and uncanny strength. Under fealty to Mu, thou art unbound by common sense and logic. Demons are the only proper form for life to take. Diabolical covenant. A pentagram forms beneath Brogy. The giants look on in confusion, unsure of what Emu is doing. As Brogy begins to sink into the symbol, Emu makes a hand gesture and utters, Doma Reversi. The pentagram begins to rotate, dragging Brogy halfway in. He pleads for Emu to stop, but as his legs rise into the air, a dark, shadowy substance starts to emerge. Brogy's form begins to change. His teeth become sharp and monstrous, and his eyes glow with an eerie light. The giants watch in horror as Brogy sprouts black wings and wields a massive demonic axe. One giant insists Brogy would never turn on his crew, but Brogy immediately swings at them, now fully consumed. Rising into the air, he proclaims, I feel all-powerful. Nothing can stop me now. We then hear that Dory has been transformed as well, laughing manically. Dory tells his crew, it's time to murk Yaru. The remaining giants beg them to come to their senses and help rescue the children, but more of them are turned into demons, while others try to flee from their corrupted crewmates. We're then shown a full page spread. The Sleep Tids and the giant warrior pirates have all been transformed into demonic versions of themselves. Emu looks on with satisfaction and says, not bad. So this is the power of Elbaf. It shall not be destroyed, but preserved and ruled over. Perhaps it is time to stay and see how useful they will be in war. The scene shifts to the village near Oris Castle, where the local giants urgently plead with Yarul to flee. Something is clearly wrong with Captains Dory and Brogy. But Yarul, eyes burning with resolve, answers, "Never tell a warrior to run from battle." So, what did you guys think about this final part of the chapter? And we'll start with Seb.
All right, so a lot happened here. I was not anticipating for Brogy and Dory and all these other giants to get turned into warriors for Emu. Apparently they grow in size as well. I was wondering if they got to the size of Loki. Probably not that big, right?
They look about that big.
I don't know. Because these are other giants that they're towering over, but Loki towers even beyond that, I feel like.
Yeah, he did.
But they're pretty big. Like, I wasn't expecting all that. That final panel looks absolutely insane. They grew like actual demonic like teeth and like demon horns. Like, it looks crazy. The Domi Reversi, like that technique, like to utilize it, I wonder like how strong you have to be to resist that. You know what I mean? Because we talked about Dory and Brogy already, about how they should be better at hockey. They should probably be stronger than we've seen. Like, they have that one Ocean Sovereignty move that seems great, but like other than that, they kind of have been a little lackluster. I'm more like, could she have done this to like a Jinbei, like, or any of those other stronger people that we respect a little bit more? Probably. I'm gonna say yeah for the most part. Maybe you got to be a conqueror to stop that from happening to you, but we'll see. But in general, the technique is wild. Like, to do this and then just like we were already getting, like, you had already commented on how great Killingham's ability is. She was just like, well, I'm gonna double down. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm making a bunch of new Holy Knights out of the giants. You know what I'm saying? I was like, yo, what are we fighting right now? Like, they're asking for Luffy. Where's Luffy? Yo, where is Luffy, bro? Like, I need more than Luffy. I'm gonna need somebody else. I need Shanks to pull up, bro. I might need Dragon to pull up, bro. It's getting crazy on Elbaf right now, bro. But it was wild to see it. And even Brogy's hand, like that came off, it's like levitating with him. Like, it just looks crazy. Like, it looks demonic. It looks wild. I love seeing it, though. Summers looks like he's back healthy in that last panel that we see of him. Killingham looks like, damn, I'm kind of getting one-upped right now.
Yeah.
I liked how Emu looks at this, like, as a test to see how well they'll do, because technically they can do this, and this will be, like, the fighting force that they're asking for, and how it will be able to be utilized in battle. And then, bruh, shout out to Yarul, man. You don't ever tell a warrior to run from a battle.
I really respected him for that.
I did too. I did too.
I did not expect that.
Bro,
you know it's because of the big bomb thing that happened.
Yeah.
We were always like, like, she's 8.
Yeah.
You know?
But that was some real stuff to say, man. I appreciate it. I do want to say, I felt bad for the crewmates of the Dory and Brogy. The ones, like, before they got turned and stuff. Like,
yeah.
They've been crewmates with them for however long. They love them. They respect them. They look at them as, like, leaders to them. And, like, they got swatted, bro.
Yeah.
They got rocked. Like, that's like, imagine you growing up with Luffy or whoever. All this respect, love, you follow them through thick and thin, and then out of nowhere they turn into a demon and they start rocking you. It reminded me of, more specifically, when Doflamingo was using Parasite on Atmos on Marineford, and he was cutting down all of his subordinates. It reminded me of that. And I have more to say on that a little bit later after everybody gives their takes. But in general, like, this all happened so quickly. Like, to spawn an army of this much people, like, this is a lot of giants. And they're huge, and Killingham's beasts are behind them. Like, Luffy gonna have to lock in. And I know I keep saying Luffy specifically. It's not just Luffy. Zoro, Sanji. We might need to go Bond to come back, take a blue chew or something. Like, listen, bro. Listen. We need something, bro. We need something over here, bro. I was gonna say the other word, but I ain't gonna say it. But I'm ready for whatever happens next. I am.
That's how you're gonna end it? Blue Chew?
Listen, Blue Chew, bro.
Okay, bro. Chopper there though.
Yeah, I'm saying the perk 30s is available.
The perk 30s.
All right, bro.
Nah, no honey packs.
All
None of
right,
that?
bro.
All right, we done.
Go ahead, Law.
Sebastian crazy. Whatchamacallit?
You so crazy.
Right. I will say, because we hear Emu say, right, the whole thing about they're going to rule as kings, and then in exchange for the measure of your lifespan, right, thou will receive undying body and uncanny strength, right, and a fealty to Emu. And this is diabolical covenant, right? So I do believe that the covenant he kind of forced upon Brogy and Dory is different from the other, say, like, for example, the Gorosei. I don't think it's the same covenant. I think he could do different covenants. I think he chose this one for them because he also views them as lesser. Because the one reason I say that too is I kind of see, and maybe just the spawn of it from the start, but their behavior seems different to me how I see the Gorosei carry out themselves.
I agree.
This seems more like I'm completely controlled and I'm a different person, Mm-hmm. Where their ones is like, they kind of feel like they have their full wits about them, that this is a choice that they're making to serve Emu. Well, this one kind of seems like this was forced upon them and they're brainwashed, Mm-hmm. So I think it's a different contract. I think he could do different contracts with his ability, be whatever it is, do it summonings or whatever, right?
Emu puts on in a drink.
He puts on in a drink, right? So, and, so I believe that's a different contract, right? And also, I think it's so different. I don't know if he has different levels. I don't know if the different contract between the Gorosei and the Knights is different. It could be the same between them, but also because he also talks to them like, that phrase about the whole demons thing. I don't think they're little demons. I think he's referring to as minions in a way.
Yes.
Kind of like soldiers and like pawns for my pieces. For a shooter. So like that's how they. Because also too, if you look about how Emu's mindset is. Mm-hmm. Everything and everyone he views is inferior to him. Mm-hmm. You guys are my things that I use to do what I want with, right? So he's saying that proper right is supposed to use for a life to take. It's like he's kind of casting everybody, and that's including the Gorosei, the CDs, Knights, anybody. You guys all. Like, what did he say? When he first came up, he said, see the descension of whatever. He views himself as a god. So he views himself like this way. So he believes everything in our lives. Like, you guys are just here to do my bidding, right? And if you're not, I'm going to force you to do it since the contract is here. For war, because I do have he recognizes he does have an enemy, and he's going for war.
You think there's, like, one guy that Emu's, like, in contact with, and he's always like, oh, Emu, please don't force me to do nothing. Like, he's trying to get forced. He's like, please don't force me. I don't need to be forced right now. Oh, my God.
Like, Roto.
He's like, please don't force me.
Stupid.
I can't. Roto low-key wants this,
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah. So I do believe that, like, and that's also like because I don't know if the Gorosei too have the enhanced strength, but we do know the undying body as the thing that he wants from his minions because like. Of course, who doesn't want like soldiers that they don't have to worry about passing? Because like anything they could continue doing it, right? But saying the change of character speaks out to me of that, and I didn't even peep that you called out that he did the same thing to his sleep tits. That
he did.
What he did to Doran Brogy.
Yeah, when you say sleep tits, make sure you say it with the D, bro. All right, because you was close right there. You was close, man. You ain't fully pronounced the ending, bro. Demonetized immediately, bro.
The sleep.
Just say nightmares, bro.
Just say nightmares, bro. Go ahead, bro. Say nightmares, bro.
Say nightmares. All right. The nightmares, right? The nightmares, right? I didn't. So now he could do that with, because like the contract. So it's like, to me, this shows that he doesn't have a limit of what he can make into his control, right? Tangible, organic, or intangible, as in the nightmares, because we see them. It has the wings, the fangs, all that stuff, just like the thing. So I didn't even realize he did that to them. I thought Kilogram just responded them, but that was crazy. So showing that how versatile this dude's power can be. And then also, too, we already know that, or we already said that Enel and Doflamingo foreshadowed Emu. But Oda's taken to a new another level. But actually now we're seeing so many aspects of his own, but also too just a bunch of different stuff he's added to it. Like even like you Sebastian brought out the control. What was it called? Parasite.
Hold up.
But that was a good shout out. that was a good shout out, like pretty much. But also too, I liked very interesting that because we all think that Emo obviously came because he wanted to wrap this up, right? He goes like, "Yo, we need these people already submitted to us, but like in a fortunate way, like use as warriors. We need numbers. We need war for the Great War. I don't know how Emo thinks how fast this war is approaching, but he says we need it now." Because of the state of Mary Joa, right? But the fact that he decided to say that he's going to stay and observe to see how well these warriors do, right? That brought up before, because remember I mentioned earlier about how I believe we're going to get an interaction between Luffy. Just similar how like Big Mom and Luffy were able to speak to the Denda Mishi, but like Gunko's the Denda Mishi for Emu as now because Emu's speaking through Gunko. That we're going to get this interaction between Luffy and Emu through Gunko. Now, like, I wasn't sure, but now to me, I believe it's going to happen because he's going to stay and watch it. And then I believe either the next chapter or the chapter after that, they should realize, feel it, or whatever, sense what's going on now, right? And Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji are going to finally step into the action, I was going to say something else, but I forgot.
Them boys better perform, man. Listen, they get up there and get put...
Nah. I think it's about to be because they kind of need to. As in, I think that's what Oda's setting up for. Because we also talk about who's going to be. We're going to Elbaf, but who is the enemy, right? We got now. It's just it's not. All right, we also is the Knights enough, but now it's not just the Knights. It's the Knights, in a way, kind of Emu, and it's the Elbaf Giants. Kind of what we wanted. Like who's the enemy, right? Also, this also speaks to like, for example, we also kind of wanted to see Loki's strength, right? But now that we saw it, we're like, all right, we're not going to see Loki battle. We're not really going to see him because, his condition and where he's at. He kind of seems like Luffy's an ally to Luffy.
Emu going to see Loki and be like, Tupac! So gangster!
Right? Like,
He's going to be Terry Crews the next Friday. Friday after next.
He's like, I want Loki.
I want you.
I like you, and I want you.
Now
we can do this the easy way. We can do it the hard way.
The choice is yours.
I see you want to do it the hard way.
I'm a warrior. That's in a sense what Emu is doing.
Please, Emu, do it to me. Force me to do something. Please don't. That's Roto.
They say Emu turned into Diddy for Loki is crazy.
Yep. but to me, this
Emu really like take that.
I can't.
He treated him like Cassie, bro.
I'm a boy, David.
He's like, get this tattoo, all right? So,
Yo, Lord.
It's Emu season. Somebody said it was Diddy season.
Yo, bro.
When we was at Momocon, started playing Bad Diddy.
Yo,
it was so funny, bro.
Yo, last night when you drunk in the car.
Last night. Couldn't you turn a demon.
Yo, bro.
Alright, we messing up Lawrence, bro.
But this
Somebody said the baby oil contract.
Did you see the poll? Poll ignorant, bro.
Yo. Alright, bro. Ain't nothing like an emu party.
Yeah, everybody tripping. Anyway, but this opened up to me, like, again, going back to seeing Loki's strength and rep, because I wonder if we're going to get where, not that it's gonna affect his heart, but the whole Hadrogen versus Loki, right? Because when I saw Brogy and Brory.
Somebody said you gotta tell Emu no.
And you got to tell him no. Yo, Cat Williams, bro.
What you doing, Daddy? Let me take you shopping.
You ain't party with me, Daddy. You ain't party with me for your birthday.
Let me take you shopping.
Hey, man.
Let me take you devil fruit shopping.
I was stuck. Devil fruit shop.
You can't.
You got to tell him no. All right, my bad, Lawrence.
What I'm trying to get at is that I can see Hydruden being flipped, right? And we could see a clash between Hydruden and the emu. I don't know what to call it.
No, I'm
the emu contract, and then Loki and him battling it out because it's going to give him an elevated strength.
Yeah.
Right? With that. So I could kind of see that happening. And I remember the answer to that one question about, like, did this happen to Joy Boy? That I don't know. That would be crazy. And could it happen to the Straw Hats? I believe it definitely could. But I don't think it could happen to Luffy. I don't think it could happen to Zoro. And actually, I don't think the top four. I don't think Jinbei or Sanji could get flipped. Because, you could think, all right, it's just Luffy and Zoro because they're both conquerors. But what about the other two? I think that's where it would end. I think the rest are like Frankie and down. I think they all can. I doubt Oda. I don't want to see Robin flip because we only saw like a little hint of that when Robin was in Wano, what form she did. But now we like for Emo, I don't want to see that because the darkness she has to relive again about Ohara and all this stuff like that, and then now you get flipped to their side. That's a whole way I didn't think Oda would go, but it's possible because I believe Emu could overpower them like this. So I think that's all I had for now.
I love that Haruden taking the deal with the devil to beat his brother. I think that's great. I don't know if we'll get it, but I think that Oda, if you're listening, the streets need that.
That's soft.
It is soft. I still
That's
want to see
soft.
it.
So there's a theory going around that within the summoning circle that Gunko produces to put under Dory, there's letters showing Eris D Star or Eris D Tar, and it kind of sounds like a D-Clan member, 1. 2, it might be Emu's name. And 3, it might lead to where, shout out to Mosh, it's from Tartarus. It might lead to the name Tartarus because if you put Eris D Tar, like it sounds like Tartarus somehow. I don't know how Mosh put it. But it leads to like underground civilizations and the world being sunken and like all these extra things. You guys should look it up or look at Mosh DMC's TikTok. It's really nice. I won't get into it because it's not my theory. All right. Interesting idea though. All right. So to move forward into something that could explain what's happening with Brogy and the rest of everybody else. So this is where I wanted to mention Fire Force. So in Fire Force, they have a separate dimension, and it's called Adola. And Adola happens to be where all doppelgangers of people who live in the real world exist, right? So let me read it to you. It says, doppelgangers are tied to the collective unconscious of mankind. The thoughts and perceptions of other people are what create a reflection of a given person. This reflection possesses the abilities and memories of the original, but their personalities can be wildly different. As the doppelganger is based on the common idea of who a person is, if an innocent and compassionate person is widely believed by others to be violent and cruel, then their doppelganger will have a violent and cruel personality. So, I read this. I said, oh my god, this makes sense. Luffy's whole ability is the power of imagination. And also, whatever he wants to conjure up is of his belief. So, if Emu's power might be the direct opposite instead of Blackbeard's, then we are witnessing Emu take literally the ideas and beliefs of people and using it in his pentagram to summon the evil natures of the people he's putting under. So he's literally flipping them upside down and bringing out their most innate desires that are probably just evil. And he's making them what they are now. And I thought that was incredible because now it made me think, well, if Emu's allowed to do this, is Luffy allowed to do this? Mm-hmm. Are we about to see all the Straw Hats turn into Nika forms because Luffy wishes it, and that's where the fight actually begins. Where Imu's like, all right, these are my soldiers, and then Luffy's like, okay, these are my soldiers, and then we fight against each other. Will that be interesting for the plot development? I don't think I want to see that.
Yeah, I don't think I want to see that.
I feel like that's stepping into territory where it's like really, really crazy, but it would explain how they match up to what's happening now. Now, in my personal opinion, I believe what you believe. I think it's a different covenant that Imu happens to have with different parties. Holy Knights have their own. Gorosei have their own, which is probably the best covenant to have, right? Because it keeps personality and it also induces you with stronger powers than anything before. But if he's able to just do this like regular people, then it's a little bit of like, you do whatever you want. I don't care. You still have some power, but it's not like the actual power, right? Yeah. So I was thinking to myself, well, I just saw Joy Boy do this hockey knot and take out your strongest covenant. Why wouldn't Luffy be able to do it to somebody that's that much weaker? Mm-hmm. So if Luffy comes up here, or Zoro, and they both just Conqueror's blast out, then these sleep tits go away, the giants go back into their regular forms, and Gunko probably turns back into a regular form too. And I'm like, will Oda do that? Hell no. That's not happening.
He might.
I'm telling you right now, it's not happening.
He might. I just don't know if it'll be Luffy.
It won't happen because Elbaf is then over. Like we ended this in 10 chapters if Luffy come through now. Mm-hmm. So Oda's not going to do that. And I have to expect he's not going to do that. The same way we thought Luffy should be able to take out Giban, but he didn't, right? Giban's not stronger than Kaido, let's be real. And I thought that was very interesting on Luffy's part because maybe Joy Boy took the Odin's route. Maybe Joy Boy thought he could do it with people, but he didn't know how to transfer his power the way Imu does. And what's Luffy's special ability? Having people follow him. And we already seen a little foreshadow with Bonnie. Maybe that could be a foreshadow for future upcoming allies to have this ability too, where he grants them the ability of Zoro being able not only to cut whatever he wants, but maybe to enlarge his sword as long as he wants. And then it's like an island dragon twister. And it's just because Zoro believes himself to be able to do such things that Luffy grants him that ability. We already know he could grab stuff out of his mind. So if it's direct opposition, it's like, okay. Kind of makes me feel a little weird. I've always been on a train that Imu is the final villain. Always been on that train. But I do recognize and do respect the climb of Blackbeard. And I feel like Blackbeard, the more Imu is shown, Blackbeard happens to be pushed down even further. And it makes me question why he's even the story now. Like, what's his impact on the story if Imu has all this dominance over hundreds of years, all this narrative behind them? What's the reason for Blackbeard? Will we be satisfied if Imu happens to be defeated by Blackbeard in some scheme way, and then Blackbeard takes on Imu's powers, and then it's just like, all right, this is Blackbeard, but supercharged up with little to no narration, except he comes from a special clan. That makes me feel like I don't want Blackbeard to be there at all then. Mm-hmm. And if it's as far as him going to Shanks' level, then this ain't even Shanks' story no more. This is beyond Shanks and Blackbeard's story. This is beyond Dragon, personally, even though his competition is to take them out. I don't think it involves him either. I think the story has just surpassed what's currently happening with all entities within the story that I don't see this connecting anymore with anybody else. Mm-hmm. And it's interesting because if Imu is looking at the giants and he's saying, well, it's for me to witness how strong they could be in war, then that would lead me to believe if the giants are the reason why the war is won on either side, then I expect Luffy to turn the giants into his own allies that are just as powered as Imu is making them now. Right? Because the giants ain't doing nothing right now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And here's what I wanted to point out. If Imu says, thou give me life in order to grant you uncanny abilities, it's really interesting because giants have the most life in the series.
They live the longest.
They live the longest, right, Seb? So it's like they have the most power to gain from it. So that's against their will, though. You know? So is this based off of the fact that, like, their power is as strong as it is right now because they're being able to have life taken from them? Because this works like Big Mom's ability. And it works like Gekko Mori's ability a little bit too. Where Gekko Mori was able to put all the shadows, you know, into himself and then grow stronger. Big Mom takes her own soul 2 years, makes herself more powerful, grants her recovery, like super regen, and she was stronger than ever too. And then she also had those glowy eyes. You remember when she was versing Kid and Law?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like Imu's bag is so deep right now, and it'd be really nice to see Luffy say, hey, I don't need to take life from you. I'll just give you the ability to have strength to do whatever you want. There's just a time limit on it now. Compared to Imu saying, you could do this forever if you want, but I'm just going to have life from you. And then it questions now, did the Gorosei give their entire life? Now they're granted eternal life. Did the Holy Knights go, yo, I'm going to grant you half of my life, but I won't get the full amount of power that you're granting the Gorosei, which is why we don't have like the extra devil fruits attached to them, like the Zoan mythical abilities. Very interesting stuff. But I'm very undecided. Like, I really think Luffy could just come up here and conquer his Haki Blast the same way Joy Boy did and knock all of them out. And then that's the end of everything.
I think my issue with that is, it's anticlimactic, as dope as it would be to see. And Luffy hasn't done one of those, like, Conqueror's Haki Blast, basically, that you're speaking of since, like, Fishman Island. Yeah. Which could be the reason why he hasn't. Like, we'll see how much he's grown with that technique now. Shoot, that could be really epic. I'm not gonna lie. I ain't gonna front. I kind of want to see it.
Like, if he does it?
Yeah, I kind of want to see it.
It'd be epic, but the story would, like, end immediately on Elbaf.
So, I wonder.
I'm sorry I threw so much at you guys.
It's fine.
No, that was just, like, all my ideas.
No, that's fine. I think you're sharing good ones. I wanted to, so would you guys want this in person or would you guys want this now? Because, all right, you're talking about Luffy doing a Conqueror's Blast to, like, you know, undo this, right? But I will say there's one thing that we didn't have with Joy Boy at that time is that the Gorosei were there, right? But Imu himself, in a way, through someone else, wasn't there with Joy Boy. Imu is here now taking over Gunko. Would you guys want this in person or would you guys want this, like, or are you guys fine with it now, where, like, Luffy does his Conqueror's Blast and Imu does one back and they clash Conquerors? So they now usually have kind of like what we saw in the Bullet movie.
I would hate the way it's done because it's through
Gunko.
That's what I'm asking.
I would wanted it to be in person
with the Emu
versus Emu.
Right.
I think that's the satisfaction I'm looking for. I wouldn't look for it through Gunko. Though.
Yeah, that's why. Because I could picture that happening, but I'm thinking, but is that what we want it through a vessel, so to speak, that he's using?
If it were to happen, I'd want to see what Emu back in Marijoi's reaction is, because when the Joy Boy knot got pulled with Emmett, they took a knee, was coughing up blood, like reacting crazy. Luffy's supposed to be this reincarnated or whatever version of that same entity. How would that work? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's doing Conqueror's Haki Blasts, probably not to the same degree, but I'm using the devil fruit that we're chasing after. I am the new Joy Boy, right? So I'm like, I don't know, because if I remember, they didn't say Nika, they said Joy Boy, right? When Emu took the knee and was coughing.
Yeah, he said Joy Boy.
Joy Boy, right? Not Nika.
Well, the Joy Boy because of the hockey knot.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Like
Nika has never been mentioned.
Right.
Yeah. Well, except they've mentioned Nika, but they've never mentioned. That's just a fruit.
My point is the beef that Emu seems to have seems more direct with Joy Boy.
Yeah.
That era, that iteration, that timeline. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe whatever. But if Luffy's supposed to be that, how will that work?
So I find it very interesting because, like, for example, you know, everyone they keep mentioning Joy Boy, and like you said, I believe that Emu's beef is, but I think it's like, I don't know how long Emu lived for, if he experienced all of them. I think he recognized that was just the same way Luffy recognized it felt familiar with Shanks, even though he's never really felt Shanks' Conqueror's Haki before. But Luffy just stated it felt familiar. But now Emu, who probably has felt it because they probably clashed or battled or whatever, thought of Joy Boy, and that's why he already knew this is Joy Boy's Conqueror's Haki, right? But I want to add, Saturn did mention when he saw Luffy in his form.
He said Nika.
He did say Nika.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't think Joey said Nika. And also, he tied that to, like, for example, and then when he was talking about all you guys need to get punished, all you guys conflict, because he goes for Luffy for awakening an ancient god, right? So I thought that was interesting, and this is just a theory. I said this a theory a while back before, but I want to read it because I thought of something more, as in, like, for example, we were in Nika, right, is viewed even by the Gorosei, which I thought that's why I would have added, because it's very interesting that the Gorosei himself, Saturn, well, one of them, recognized that Nika is a god figure, right? But you also recognize that Emu, and amongst yourselves, that you guys are gods. But, like, I guess for you guys, Emu is your ruler, like, you know, like, so you really, like, Emu is the god, but you recognize that you said for awakening an ancient god. So I wonder if the story goes back, if Emu is like the originator of the Gorosei line, so to speak, of why they actually view him, if they are Congress or whatever, they view him as the power, right? He's the ruler or whatever, right? But what if it started off where we did, at the time, there was, like, you know, a Nika figure, a liberator, like a god, like if you're an ancient god, but also, like, the opposite of him was, like, they talk about, like, what was it? It was, you guys said it. It was like liberation or domination. So domination or suppression, right? So you had one that was about liberating things, like let things be free.
Yeah.
Where one was like, no, I'm going to dominate, suppress everything.
Yeah.
Right. So that's where it started from, and then, you know, through that story, one won.
Yeah.
So now it's just like, all right, the prophecy's gonna make one's gonna come back because it came back into a fruit or whatever. So I wonder, like, if it was them two. And they've always battled, kind of like yin and yang, so to speak. There's always been a war between these two. But in this situation, Emu, the evil one, the domination, whatever, just kept winning, right? And then through the lines, but it's probably like, yeah, but he's not always going to win. The liberation one is going to take the spot back, or, you know, is going to take it from him, you know?
Yeah.
I just wondered about that, like, you know?
So we'll see, man. It's going to be an interesting... we don't have no chapter break, so...
That's crazy.
We're going to see what's happening, man, because next chapter going to be crazy. But, guys, before we read the rest of the Super Chats and get into Discord phone calls, Sebastian has a theory he wrote out.
I do.
He has a theory.
Super
He prepared it. He wrote it out. We're going to listen to Seb's theory.
Yeah, and sorry in advance, I'm going to be talking for a while. Take my little big chug of water real quick, but if you guys like it, let me know. If you don't, let me know. Right. I believe Brook and Gunko originate from a kingdom that was once ruled by Emu and the Nerona family, and my favorite villain, Don Quixote Doflamingo, may have subtly foreshadowed it all through key parallels. Oda loves to echo storylines and philosophies throughout One Piece, often reimagining past plot threads on a grander scale. For this theory, I'm using Doflamingo's connection to Emu and the Riku family as a narrative foundation. We know that the Riku family took over Dressrosa after the Don Quixote family left to join the Celestial Dragons over 800 years ago. That raises an intriguing question. Which modern islands were once a part of the original 20 kingdoms, and what's the relationship between the original royal families and those who replaced them after their departure? When Doflamingo returned to Dressrosa, he weaponized his former royal status and military power to blackmail King Riku and seize control of the kingdom. His actions forced King Riku into an impossible position, ultimately resulting in the betrayal and restoration of the Don Quixote rule, not by right, but by manipulation and violence. Doflamingo did this largely because he was rejected by the Celestial Dragons and denied re-entry into Mary Joie. In many ways, Doflamingo has tried to emulate Emu. Whether he's consciously aware of Emu's existence or not, he seeks immortality, aspires to rule the world, and believes he is entitled to godhood. Even the way he reclaims his family's former territories mirrors what I believe Emu has done on a much larger scale. It is likely that other Celestial Dragons have attempted similar takeovers or manipulations of their former lands, leveraging their heritage to assert control. And that brings us to how Gunko, Emu, and Brook are connected. I theorize that Gunko is a descendant, possibly even a princess, of the island once ruled by Saint Imu and the Nerona family. Just as Doflamingo returned to Dressrosa and forced a costly tax on the Riku family in order to retain rule, I believe the Nerona family has imposed a similar tax or far darker toll on their former kingdom, the sacrifice of one royal child per generation. This would allow Imu to transfer their consciousness into the body of the sacrificed child, enabling them to walk the world in disguise, a concept seemingly confirmed in chapter 1149. This idea draws another eerie parallel between Doflamingo and Imu. Doflamingo's parasite technique lets him forcibly control others' bodies without consent, mirroring Imu's more literal possession of new vessels to maintain power and presence. I believe Imu and the Nerona family have imposed a tax well beyond the Larry tax. Now, in chapter 1150, we're introduced to Domi Reversi, a blood/demon contract ritual with ancient origins and heavy consequences. While the full scope of this technique is still unclear, it strongly resembles the possession of exchange of souls tied to blood lineage, consent, or sacrifice. The ritual seems to draw on a deep, forbidden knowledge, possibly tied to the Void Century or celestial bloodlines. I believe this could be the type of ritual Imu used to transfer their soul into the body of a royal child, specifically Gunko. If Gunko was forced into this ritual, the Domi Reversi could be a literal reversal of fate where Imu's consciousness overrides hers in a demonic pact, leaving her either erased, buried deep, or mentally fragmented. This would explain her strange emotional detachment in the present, her loss of memory, and more on that in a little bit, and her symbolic ties to innocence and sacrificial royalty. As for why Imu has the ability to do all this, I say it's likely a demon fruit, as we talked about earlier in the stream. Possibly a mythical Zoan Lucifer model. I'll touch more on Brook in a bit, but I did want to point out that the word Reversi originated from France. Brook's sword style also derives from fencing, which is the most popular martial arts style in French culture. Now, the concept of sacrificing children to divine rulers is not new in One Piece. In Skypiea, Kalgara nearly sacrificed his daughter Moose to Kashigami, a massive snake worshipped as a god. That story revealed how ritualistic offerings to deities can mask brutal political and ideological control. Here's the twist. In Skypiea and Elbaf, we are shown godlike figures that demand loyalty, fear, and even blood. Kashigami was a false god Kashigami was a false god masking tyranny under the guise of tradition. The Elbaf mural, meanwhile, depicts a snake-like being or celestial figure believed by many fans to be a symbolic representation of Imu. The mural's looming presence, combined with what we know about Imu's immortality and soul-transferring method, suggests a long history of god myth manipulation. Just as Kashigami was once worshipped to the point of sacrifice, Imu has positioned themselves as a divine being who demands real blood in exchange for continued peace and power. In both cases, the imagery of serpents or godlike figures ties back to control through fear. Kashigami and the Elbaf mural reflect a repeating pattern. Faith is weaponized and innocence is the price. Now, about Brook. There's growing speculation that his past is tied to Gunko. In the mini flashback in 1149, he is seen shown holding hands with a young Gunko and singing with her. With her visibly enjoying the tune. That musical bond seems to persist into the present, where Gunko is shown listening to Soul King Brook and referencing Brook's song The New World as her favorite. We know very little about Brook's past before joining the Rumbar Pirates, only that he served as a battle convoy for a certain kingdom. The term convoy in the singular can imply a personal escort, often assigned to protect someone of high importance. If Brook was assigned to protect a young royal, possibly Gunko, it would parallel the roles of Pell and Igaram protecting Princess Vivi of Alabasta. Some fans believe Brook may be Gunko's father. I don't think that's the case. From a storytelling perspective, it wouldn't add meaningful depth to his character, in my opinion, and their interactions don't seem to reflect a father-daughter dynamic. In the silhouetted scene, Gunko cries out in distress to or for her father. In the present, Gunko refers to Brook simply by name. No familiarity there at all. That would be strange if that were her actual father. However, Brook's connection to Gunko may explain his knowledge of the Holy Knights. If he once served as a royal guard for the the family that took over the Nerona family kingdom, he may have been present during a ritual sacrifice, perhaps even at a past reverie. The Holy Knights, being Imu's elite force, would likely be the enforcers there overseeing such an event. I believe this royal sacrifice ritual will be the centerpiece of Brook's eventual second backstory, possibly the most emotional flashback that he'll have, and it may even be the reason why he left the kingdom and set sail in the first place. If Brook failed to stop the ritual or was powerless to protect the young girl, royal girl, possibly Gunko, from her fate, it would explain the pain deep buried in his character and his longing for connection through music. And here's a critical detail. I believe Brook may have directly clashed with the Holy Knights during this conflict. Whether in an attempt to halt the sacrifice, defy the Nerona family's demand, Brook could have found himself facing off against the world's most elite warriors. Not only would this explain why he has knowledge of their power and presence, it would add a tragic dimension to his failure. Facing overwhelming odds, Brook may have lost the battle, the kingdom, and lost the child he had sworn to protect. That moment, failing to protect Gunko, may have been the spark that he needed to go after the dream he once shared with her, to become a pirate and bring joy to the world with his music. Not just for the sake of the dream, but as a way to devise systems of power and ritual that tore the world apart, and as a promise to the one person he couldn't save. Now here's where it comes full circle and gets a little darker. In Dressrosa, Doflamingo used Sugar's hobby fruit to turn people into toys and erase their existence from everyone's memory. It was the most haunting use of power in the series. And it showed that memory manipulation is within the arsenal of powerful celestial aligned forces. What if something similar happened to Gunko? Her strange detachment in the present, her vague recollection of Brook's music, and the lack of awareness about her past all point to some form of forced memory suppression that Lauren spoke to last week. If the Nerona family or Imu's circle wanted to erase all evidence of this ritual and Imu's soul transference, as Larry spoke about, they would absolutely wipe the memories of all of those involved, especially the would-be vessel. They don't want the world to know of Imu's existence. Just like the toys of Dressrosa, Gunko may have been forgotten to the world on purpose, turned into a blank slate so that Imu's manipulation would leave not a single trail. Brook, on the other hand, would be the rare exception, a living witness to the truth, carrying a memory too painful and too dangerous to share. To sum everything up, Brook and Gunko derive from the same kingdom. Imu's immortality may depend on the sacrificial possession of royal heirs. Using this demon Del fruit, it grants the powers to take over other people's souls and bodies. The Nerona kingdom have imposed this for generations, with Gunko being the latest target. Brook once protected a young Gunko and tried to stop this ritual, possibly clashing with the Holy Knights years ago. That failure shaped Brook's past as a pirate and musician. Gunko's present-day memory loss may mirror the forgotten toys of Dressrosa and the internal cover-up that they used to erase the truth. And the Kashigami ritual in Skypiea and the serpent-like Elbaf mural foreshadowed the godlike mythos built around Imu, false deities sustaining blood and lies. And Oda may be preparing to weave all this in an entirely new, hidden, emotional core of Brook's long overdue backstory, which was most likely foreshadowed by Doflamingo, whose moniker in the story is aptly named the Heavenly Demon. All right, that's the theory. All right. I hope y'all followed that easily enough. Yeah. And I don't think it took a full 10 minutes to say that. I don't know, maybe.
No, you spoke really fast.
Yeah, oh, man, I hope I wasn't too fast. Did I get what I was saying, though?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. But yeah, the Nerona family used to run Brook's kingdom. And thank you, Larry, for the Reversi piece about the French. I didn't know that. I had to add that in a little later. So, but yeah.
Yeah, it's solid.
Mm-hmm. Notes, critiques.
One thing I want to add, I think it's interesting, the whole, I will say, like, Brook serving, because I'm thinking, if you're serving as a knight, right, why would you want to be a pirate? But, like, how you alluded to, if he's kind of seeing, like you said, he already knows, Brook, we heard from Brook, that he knows of the knights. So he's probably seeing what they're doing. Because usually, when we know in One Piece, right, if you want to sail the sea, that's fine. Like, you want to be free. But usually, piracy represents something, right? It represents freedom, but also a freedom to break away from the world government. Because once you're there with private, you're an enemy of the world government. right?
Mm-hmm.
You're standing in opposition in front of them. You want something different. That's what piracy represents. It's not just about a man's dream. It's usually you want to break free from your current situation and you want to live free, right? But also too, it's more for Brook because you're actually serving in a kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
What would make you want to leave that to be a pirate? Is you're seeing where the kingdom you're serving, if it has ties to the celestial dragons and how they're doing things, I could see where like, nah, I want to be free from this. You know, I want to explore. I want to make music and enjoy it with a life I want to live with freedom, happiness, not controlling, not in a way where I have to listen to these people. You know, as in because maybe he's not a knight himself, but like either way, every kingdom aligned to the world government has to listen to them. You know, you have to support their cause or whatever. But if you want to be free, that makes sense. Right. And so, yeah, you bring that out, like, it makes sense in that way for Brook. The only thing I will say, like, different is, like, for Emu's longevity, why he lives long, I'm thinking the OP fruit. Not necessarily the sacrifices of each. I can think that play a part, but the reason why he would live long, like, live forever, I think is the OP fruit, the Op fruit.
Yeah. Technically, the way the theory works, it could be both. Like, he could have that, and that's how he's able to just be alive all this time.
Yeah.
But if you want to, like, go places without leaving the throne, like, this would be your way to do that.
Oh, I got you. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Okay.
It's like, yeah, I'm immortal, but, like, I don't want to have to go to the blue sea every time I want to see something. I want to be able to, you know?
I got you. Just take over someone and see what's happening.
And if he seemingly values the Gorosei, he doesn't want, and they typically are always in marriage as well.
Yeah.
He doesn't want to have to use them every time. You know, and then the one time we did see him utilize it in this way or take some away was Saturn when he was away from Mary Joie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. That's just kind of where my mind went with it. But I feel you. I thought about that too. Like, would you not just use the OP to me to be immortal? Like, why are we doing this? But I had other pieces of the theory that I didn't get to include because I thought it was gonna be too long. Larry told me like to cut it short a little bit. So, but like Gunko's name being the like war child or whatever it is, like. That doesn't sound like a real name. Mm-hmm. Like it could just be the name that Emu and them gave her after the transference, you know, something like that. I mean, it could just be her name, but it could just be Oda playing up on that idea. Mm. But I don't know. I like it. I like it for Brook. It gets him a little bit deeper of a backstory than what we have so far, and it just explains like, like when you were going off about like Brook's deadbeat dad, I was like, I don't think we gained anything from that. Like it was funny, but I'm like. Brook being a dad, like that, what did that do for us? Mm-hmm. Nothing. So I thought if he was like, oh, I failed to protect this young girl, and it shaped him into who he is as a man. Like that makes more
I like that
sense
piece.
to me anyway. But you
really
guys like it? You seem like it.
Yeah. I like that piece a lot. Mm-hmm. But I think you did a good job, man.
I hope I wasn't talking too fast, bro. I feel like I was. But
yeah, just a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I had to pay attention a little harder. I had to look at you and make sure like I read your lips.
Because when I showed you, you were like, that's way too much. So I'm like, I gotta go through that quickly, otherwise it's not gonna be. It's too long. Yeah. But we'll see.
It was good though, man.
We'll see.
I'm very like wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet. All right, we got a bunch of super chats we got to hit and only like 20 minutes left in the show. So I'm going to start reading them.
Yeah, do your thing.
All right. We got another 5 from Fellwinter Peak. Again, sorry guys for the hiatus, the super chats. But it says, if Overhaul from MHA was in One Piece, would he be more dangerous than pre-time skip villains or after? Would he be a conqueror? Overhaul's the one that be erasing people when he touches them?
Dismantling.
Okay.
And reconfiguring. Okay. I think that's what it is. Mm-hmm. It's something like that. It's more or less like bullets, devil fruit. But Bullet can do it with like metal only, where he could do it with like everything.
He can also even like dismantle someone and then gain their power by putting out with him. He did it with one of his crew members. It was reversed by that girl.
Would he be a conqueror then? No.
No. He
wouldn't be a conqueror.
That's the guy with the thing on his face?
Yeah.
The hand on his face? That's not a conqueror.
That beak looking thing.
The beak, yeah.
Oh, the beak guy.
Yeah.
I was thinking the hand face guy.
No, that's Shinraki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think that guy's conqueror. Another 5 from Marcellus. It says, I've been hearing a lot of reasons why Sanji will get Conqueror's Haki. What are y'all reasons why he won't get Conqueror's Haki? Usopp, my washed up goat. #7 Larry takes. All right. Well, you came to the right place because a couple people here don't think he'll get it. So,
Yeah.
by all means, speak away.
He's Sanji.
He's Sanji? That can't be the answer, man. He doesn't conduct himself as most conquerors do in the series, in the simplest way. Even me, a Sanji fan who believes he might, he doesn't conduct himself in the way that most conquerors in the series do.
And part of it, too, is like, for example, and I know this is going with pre-skip Sanji, but to me, it kind of shows the mindset or attitude that Sanji has. This is going back to, like, when we first met Sanji and he sees Zoro going after his goal, his dream of Mihawk, right? And he questioned why Zoro was putting his life on the line to go with stuff like that when it was, like, out of his reach. Why Zoro would still go for it. Where, you know, Zoro and Luffy is usually, especially with Zoro, kind of showed it more so, is either I achieve my dream or I pass. Like, there's no middle ground.
Yeah.
I'm going to go after it.
That's right.
Yeah. You know? Sanji said if it's, like, kind of, like, showed that attitude, if it was too much, just leave, let it go, run away. You know? Kind of, maybe not run away is his words, but it's just like, this guy's too strong for you. Why continue this dream? Kind of, like, throw it up. That right there kind of showed that, in a way, how he's thinking, and that's not concrete. Because even Jinbei said it. While explaining Luffy, he said, you went all the way your journey without doubting yourself at all. Right? In a way, that's the mindset of conquerors. You kind of believe that you're going to achieve your dream no matter what. There's no doubt in your own strength, your own capability, and that's part of what a conqueror is. There's no, I'm going to achieve it or I'm going to pass. Like, it's as far as I'm meant to go. Sanji didn't show that he had that. So,
Yeah.
Close as he got to Kuma, and then he lost it when it came to Whole Cake Island.
Yeah, I mean, Rayleigh
really
said the hockey is the act of not doubting. Conqueror's hockey is like that at the highest level.
Yeah.
I can't say that Sanji was out here not doubting at the highest level. So, number 5 from Larry's consciousness, the power system just got crazy. Only one man besides Oda can explain this. Where is Ja? I don't even think the power system got crazy. I think it's just another crazy devil fruit. But that's me. Number 5 from Abnaib. Sorry, man. It says chapter 937 mentions that Ryuma alone overpowered the world government forces, and chapter 1052 mentions that only who rivaled Joy Boy was Ryuma. How would you scale him?
I've been saying that for the longest. Y'all remember that? Like, in Wano they compared Ryuma to Joy Boy. I believe Ryuma is around that level, but we can't prove it.
Listen, Joy Boy lived a long time before Ryuma was born, bro.
Yeah, bro.
So?
I'll say this, man. World government forces. Lucci was a world government force at Annie's lobby, my G. And I'm not trying to disrespect anybody when I say that, but that world government forces ranges pretty heavily. But
it wasn't just world government. He was fighting pirates, world government, anything that came after the City of Gold that Wano represented.
A lot of pirates.
And he did it by himself.
A lot of pirates.
Like, we saw just for 2 years, the state of Kuma. You know what I'm saying?
I'm not trying. Listen, he up there. I'm just saying, world government forces. Unless you fight God's Knights and Gorosei members, like we can chill out. Another 5 from That Ain't A. Imu can summon anything just like how Luffy can, showing that she is Luffy/Nika's opposite. Question: can a sun god regenerate too? # Hurley Trauma Llama. Maybe. I mean, it's hard to tell now, man. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Early. Another 5 Australian from Daimyo Dial. If Imu's haki is so strong it can be imbued into his followers, is it possible for Luffy to get to a point to spread his conquerors to the whole crew? Larry had kind of spoken to something similar, more specifically with the Devil Fruit, I thought.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't like it, personally. But who knows? Oda be doing a lot of stuff. Another 5 from Craven Moore M's. Since we're starting to see more of Emu's and the Holy Knight's abilities, how many arcs/islands until we get to the final war? 3.
I would say 3.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Lodestar Raftel, one other arc that we don't know about.
True.
But, yeah, those are the 3. Another 5 from Kirby. Luffy gives others a tune effect. Emu gives others a devil effect. There has to be a connection somewhere. 100% Nika connection # big topped. Maybe. I mean, we'll see.
Interesting.
Another 2 from Luis Lopez. How many flashbacks are left in the story? Arbitrary number here, but 7. I have no reason to say 7, but I'm going 7. Dragon, Akainu, Brook, Joy Boy, Emu,
Random side character.
Blackbeard, and then random side character. That's my 7 right there.
I'm going 24.
24? Shit, we didn't even get Shanks. I didn't even say Shanks. 11.
Maybe Rocks.
11. Yeah. Larry right, 24.
Yeah, bro.
Another John, another Shichibukai joined the ship. Another 11 months at Nakama status from L. It says Emu is definitely a pog. Hilarious. Another 5 from Wise Life Jody. Will Zoro forge a black blade soon in order to hurt the Holy Knights / demons, or will we have to fight another top tier swordsman to achieve that feat? Hashtag Larry Tax.
I don't think it has to be a swordsman. It's just how much he forges his will into the blades.
Yeah. Yeah. Another 5 from Uncle Ruckus. Another 2 from Uncle Ruckus, but no super chat attacks. I ain't trying to hear nothing from Uncle Ruckus anyway, so appreciate it. Another 5 from Joe Gallegos. Ja Rule finding out what type of warrior Gabon is was low got to do. I can't, yo. I hate John so much. Another 5 from Nimbus Jujubee. Has Oda ridden himself into a wall with Mihawk and Dragon? They can't be weak, but if they're too strong, then why wait so long to make a move? I don't think so. It's just going to be, especially not with Mihawk. Dragon, he just hasn't had the facilities, to be honest. Like, as much as we rag on him, he was never in a position to actually overthrow the world government. Mm-hmm. So I don't think so. Another 20 from Mr. Music Major, aka Preston from the TOPT Podcast. It says Brook is him. That is all. Preston, I'm curious to see what you think about my Brook theory, man. I don't know if you were able to watch it, but
Preston.
But yeah, subscribe to Life with Anime. Another 2 from Jeremy Hagler. Hey y'all, who has the best fits in One Piece? Hashtag BBG. Hashtag BBC.
Best fits?
Nami. It's Nami, bro.
Nami or Robin?
She changes so often. She be fly as hell, like 95% of the time. It's Nami. Another 5 from Fremos. Heard a rumor that the next movie is Godzilla versus Kong versus Lawrence. Oh, man.
I can't.
Another 5 from Mr. Music Major. Also, Usopp better do something. I'm sick of this. That's
Preston,
your boy,
man.
Preston.
Thank
man.
you, brother.
You gotta die with the ship. Another 5 from Kirby. Y'all got me thinking Emu might be an ancient sea creature. Google the Placozoans. It's a blob that can take any shape. Hashtag Fishman Gang. Hashtag Marv of Oz. Maybe. I mean,
Marv of Oz.
I gotta look it up.
I like that.
Another 19 months at Nakama status from Mr. Veg. It says, shout out to my kids, Mark and shout out my kids, Mark and Avery. Eggs with a V? Shout out to Mark and Avery. I didn't get that last
Shout
part.
out to Mark.
It's Mr. Vegs.
Yeah.
Like eggs.
Mr. Vegs.
Okay.
Shout out to the children.
Shout out to Mark and Avery.
Keep them away from Elbaf.
Yeah. Another 5 from Noah Gibbs. I think Luffy's fruit is the primordial fruit. Nika went out and took people's dreams and turned them into fruits, like stronger version of killing him. Maybe. Y'all be having these wild thoughts, man. I can't lie. Another 10 from Quillen Lavanos Nakamui. Sorry, I butchered your name. What's up, y'all? I'm a Broadway drummer in Nashville, Tennessee. It's crazy how absolutely none of these rednecks know I'm watching y'all on stage right now. Well, I've been to Nashville, bro. It's dope out there. So
How's that chicken?
It's hot.
Hot.
Another 5 from Cam the King. I meant when Seb said Lucci loses the kid. My bad. LOL. Okay. I mean, Lucci does lose the kid. So, another 5 from Awareness. Emu fruit equals Hitu no Mi model Akuma. Devil. Thoughts? Maybe. Sabo said the top of the world was hellish looking, and plus all the demonic stuff. What are your thoughts? Yeah, I kind of alluded to that a little bit earlier. I think Larry alluded to something similar earlier. To me, it's all just a devil fruit until Oda tells me it's not.
I mean, the Tantata probably thought that when they walk into the kingdom of Dressrosa.
Yeah.
Once they got enslaved, they were like, oh my God.
Yeah, another 5 from John Virtuals. Larry, serious question. Can Kid beat Blackbeard?
No.
Another 5 from
But it
Raven
depends. If he's in the air the way he was against Law, then I could see the gun pushing him farther enough away that he lands in the ocean. It would have to be by ring out like that.
I will say I think the answer is he could. I don't think he would. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Yes.
Like he has the like
But it is
ring out
Kid. Like
capability.
Kid's a super bum, so.
Yeah, I don't think he would. Another 5 from Ravenstorm. Ray only said that hockey can make a Logia types vulnerable. Chapter 597. I think that's refers to one of your comments.
Yeah, so me and Lana have been having this debate for so long. Thank you for that.
Yeah, I gotta get the official translation and go with that. Another 5 from Nikes and Gundams. It says Emu might have that mythical zone fruit model Crolio from Lucifer from Hunter x Hunter. This is like the 4th super chat with that one. I gotta watch Hunter x Hunter, man. Thank you, Nikes. Another 5 from Jada Rude. The fact that the Giants are big might be their crutch because they're probably just being used to being stronger than most people on the planet naturally. Maybe a little bit of a stagnation there. Another 5 from Patiz Pro. Just want to say I love this podcast. I tap in every week on Apple Podcasts. You guys are the best. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Shout out
that.
to the Apple listeners. Another 5 Canadian from Morningstar. It says Dookie and Buki are finally going to be useful in the series. Wow. Okay. Another 5 from Roberto Figueredo. Here's the theory. What if Shanks shows up out of nowhere and says to Emo, "What are you doing to my territory and my subordinates?" I have 2 different answers. I don't think that Shanks should be able to G-check Emu. I would have a problem with that because it would be the Oda just wanking Shanks show all over again. But I do believe that Oda loves Shanks so much that he might do it anyway.
You got your big boy pants on? You got big boy pants?
Another 3 votes of Yonko status from Mr. Aura, our highest tier membership, so thank you. Enjoy the emojis that come being a Yonko. Another 10 from War Room. Emu being tied to fishmen would be funny because I read a book where the villain oppressed his own race because they were the only ones who could identify his power / produce another being like him. What's the book? What book is it? Let us know the book. I'm interested. Another 5 from Ravenstorm. If Kaido sent Law to Zoe instead of Jack, he would have gotten the job done in an hour. Probably. Another 10 from Blind Shepherd. What if the D, stands for Domini? It would explain why Emu uses Domini Reversi.
No.
Could? I mean,
no,
could.
I don't think so.
Could?
No.
I don't know. Did you read this out earlier? I don't remember. Blind Shepherd 10?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you again, Shepherd. Another 5 from 100 D Hose. Is it possible Chopper used observation hockey to find Zoro and Luffy in Water 7? I'd have to go back and look at the scene, but I don't think so.
Nah.
He just smelled them. Another 5 from Xavier Odili. Shamrock left and Emu's impatient. Who is attacking Mary Joie right now? Blackbeard or the Rebs? Or someone else? What y'all think? Hashtag topped on top. Hashtag repeat. Repel the Larry tax. If I had to bet money, I'll go Dragon, man. I'll go Dragon.
I don't know if they are or not. I don't know if they're being attacked or not.
Something's
Both
happening.
translations seem weird to me.
Yeah, the only way is like we know that the Rebs, they put things in place to affect mostly their food supply. You know, like they were stopping that. Like even like the gondolas that would go up that had food on it would just blow up or
Where's all the
malfunction.
Rice Krispie treats?
So, but we already know the Blackbeard pirates were also
You think
making
celestial
plans, too.
dragons eat fishmen?
That's crazy.
Yes. Another 2 from Luis AM21. Did y'all see the Chopper introduction for the One Piece live action? I saw some Instagram clips. I didn't really see it though.
I didn't really like it.
I didn't have strong
The
feelings.
CGI didn't look that great.
For what?
They
for
should have just
Chopper.
had Chopper be cartoon Chopper. Like he just a cartoon and everybody else not. Another 20 from Professor Guwap. It says, "Hey guys, love the contestant just came to stop by catching up on the episodes on 160. Well, thank you. I'm pretty sure you make content, so thank you.
Thank you.
Another 5 from Rave Beasts. When's the next time you think there will be a cutaway from the current action in the manga, and when it happens, what are you hoping to see?
Might be next chapter.
Whatever's happening at Mary Joie. Talk to me. Another 5 from Jada Rude. No, you don't have to pay the Larry tax as long as you don't mind Larry sending Law to your house to pay your pet dog a visit. Hashtag what else they got to do. Oh, man. Another 50 from Villain D Justice. The Juice. Gotta listen to this tomorrow. Love hearing you Nikas talking anime. Hey, man. Been tapped in for going on 3 years now. Larry, I'm never paying that Larry tax. Twins, please don't leave us. Hashtag it's just hockey. Hashtag shirts off for Shin. Hashtag bang bang buggy gang. Hashtag Fuji, the only real admiral. Thank you, Villain DQ.
Oh, so sweet. Thank you, brother.
Another
Appreciate
5
that.
from Blind Shepherd. Domi Reversi is being based on a board game. Makes you wonder if Emu's power is based on games. It would be a good contrast to Luffy.
He just Pegasus? Luffy boy.
Luffy boy. Oh, there's so many left. All right. I'm going to try to hurry this up. We only got 5 minutes left.
He used Toon World.
The other 2 from Dope, it says, Emu is Nika's shadow. Changed my mind. Oh, wow. Another 2 from Off-Brand, the Mountain Eater don't need no honey pack. I feel that. Another 2 from Shepherd. TOPT now sponsored by Honey Packs. Another 5 from Asante the Wise. What's up, Top? Today's my 24th birthday. Love you guys. Been watching since episode 168.
Oh,
thank you and happy
Thank
birthday.
you.
Another 5 from Jada Rude. If y'all were going to think with the Dolphy things, does that mean Emu and Joy Boy are siblings? They could be. That was a part of my original thought process. I had to cut that out. The other 2 from Jada Rude. Shanks MIA. He's going to Marine Ford faster. What just happened? Larry, lock in.
Locking in.
What happened?
Locking in. I'm locking in, y'all.
My bad. My computer
Jay
crashed.
Darude, Shanks MIA. He got to Marine Ford faster.
Oh, like he's not here. He got to Marine Ford faster than this.
Yeah.
Okay.
JT with the $4.99. Getting topped off on Monday. Can't get no better. Who do you think would win? Blackbeard off the za or Yamato on testosterones? Hashtag big boys on top. Hashtag red hair top 1.
Blackbeard, man. Blackbeard. I'm back, by the way.
All right.
We got another 20 from Gregory Rodriguez. Giants being able to use hockey feats would be OP as hell, in my opinion. Mind blown. Also, that would force Oda to make Emu so powerful that he/she would be able to take out an army of hockey-wielding giants. Come on, Larry. Be realistic. Not an army, per se.
And Soul used hockey, and look what happened to him.
So you...
Saul did use hockey.
Yeah.
Hockey Harding, too. Look what happened to him. By Sommers. Easy work.
Emu's supposed to be top 1, bro.
Easy work.
I don't care if it's hockey-filled giants or not. He's supposed to be top 1. Another 5 from War Room. Wiki says Mu was destroyed and fell into the great abyss of fire. And the king of Mu was named Ra. This is the same name of the Egyptian god of the sun. Yeah, I was reading up on that after Komo's super chat earlier. It's kind of crazy. Another 5 from Blind Shepherd. I swear if Oda has to Luffy pull up to Emu with his Nikas, they need to lock him up. I agree. I wouldn't like that. Another 20 from Elijah Mabe. What's up, Top? Longtime Apple music lurker. What are your thoughts on Emu's powers being the level up of the Shadow Fruit or the first power system from before Devil Fruits? Hashtag love getting topped off.
I actually thought of that last part back going when they were being oppressed. Like if these were like powers that were happening and why
Devil Fruits exist.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
To combat against this because they're being oppressed by these powers.
It's possible. Another 2 from Monkey D. Brazy. Do we get Luffy Conquers Blast in Gear 5? I would love to see that. Another 5 from Hunter D. Hose. I got this idea from Larry's Theory. Emu is the director. Count to 20 kingdoms come together to spawn a Devil Fruit suppress the liberated. Maybe. Another 5 gifted memberships from Blind Shepherd. Throw the knock fist up. Another 5 from Logan Tate. What's up, Top Gang? Do you think Emu could work like Top Musica from Film Red? Pentagram is a different realm. Oda does like to pull from the movie lores to highlight future events.
Interesting.
We got Shangui that joined as a Nakama. Enjoy the emojis. Another 5 from Ethan Marengo. I'm a firefighter, and there was a mother and a child in the window. I could not reach them. The only advice I could give them was aim for the bush.
Oh my goodness.
Another 5 from Shepard. So Brook is originally from Morimo Island, which is currently the Revolutionary's base. Seb is chefing it up. I ain't say all that per se, but maybe. Another 5 from Jada Rude. Immortality could just mean you can't die of old age, but doesn't mean you can't be killed. True. Another 5 from our Dixon Cider. Okay, bro. What's up, everyone? Hope all is well.
Oh my
Do
God.
you think Law being able to grant eternal life can reverse Emu's eternal life? Hence, she's already had it. Yeah.
Possibly.
I think so. Another 5 from Xavier O'Dilly. Shamrock left and Emu's impatient. Who was attacking Mary Joie? Blackbeard or Rev? Someone else. What do y'all think? Hashtag top. Didn't we read this already?
Yeah.
Maybe send it again. But do y'all have anything specific? Yeah, it's between those two. And if I had to bet,
probably Blackbeard.
I wanted to be the Rev just to see Dragon do something. Another 5 from Sean Baker. If Dragon is super strong, why did he have to pull his troops back when Blackbeard attacked his base himself? Because news about the base being out there was out there.
Yeah.
So if you have a secret organization, secret bases and stuff, once the location is known.
Because he's soft.
Once the location is known, you gotta pivot.
And also, too, he's trying to fight the government, not pirates.
Everybody gotta stop using these soft excuses, bro.
Right,
throw hands if you that strong. Emu out here doing it.
Okay. Another 5 from Rory Games. What if Dragon dies at Mary Joie in a fight with
Good. Get him out of here.
Another 2 from Dixon. Mihawk and Emo are the only 2 with the same eyes. That's not true. Cavendish has them sometimes. And then another 2 from Mr. Aura. Hashtag Larry Tax. And that's it.
All right. Whew. Guys, thank you so much for all the super chats.
Did I miss one?
Did we miss any?
Marv don't be paying attention, man. It's all right. No, it's all right. I got it. I just said it.
Yeah, thank you so much for all the super chats, guys. Thank you for enjoying the chapter with us. We will be here next week at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Same time as always. Same time every Monday. So I'll be doing my live reaction that Sunday. Don't know what time just yet, but I'll let you know as well. If you haven't joined our Discord yet, please join our Discord. If you haven't given us 5 stars on Spotify and Apple Podcasts just yet, please do that. If you haven't liked the video just yet, please do that. If you're gonna leave some thoughts, like comments and stuff like that, do it after the video is over. That way, you know what I'm saying, everybody can see what you think about the chapter. Let us know if it's a 10 out of 10, stuff like that. But thank you so much for just chilling with us. My name is Larry.
Lawrence.
Seb.
Lionel, and this is Top Podcast. Jana!